Alrighty, everyone. Well, this is meteorologist Timmy Albertson here with you guys for Weather Ballet. We are tracking ourselves some thunderstorms that are going to be occurring down across the deep south. This course, this time of the year, well, the deep south tends to be an active area for severe weather. Right now, we do actually have ourselves a tornado watch that is in effect, and that stretches all the way from the Tennessee-Mississippi line near Florence, not Florence, near Memphis area, going all the way down through Jackson, and then heading its way down and including Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as well as areas around Monroe, Louisiana. But for the most part, the main area that we are going to be expecting to see severe weather today is actually going to be kind of on the eastern edge of this watch, including the city of Jackson, but also into the Alabama area. Storm Prediction Center right now is actually highlighting this area as a high risk. Now, this is going to be, again, for some of the severe storms that we're going to be seeing for the day today. Again, there is going to be a pretty decent possibility of seeing some tornadic activity. As a matter of fact, there is some thinking that we may actually end up seeing a tornado outbreak. And if some of the activity that we've already been seeing this morning is any indication of what we could be seeing this afternoon, we could be seeing the possibility here for maybe potential for some long track tornadoes. And historically, those long track tornadoes end up being the strong and severe ones there. Now, right now, things are kind of still getting developed a little bit. There was quite a bit of severe weather last night that made its way through Missouri and Arkansas and even across portions of Illinois. That was actually a kind of a separate upper level system, all kind of attached to the same thing. But that system is now tracked its way up towards the north. And now what we have going on is we have a very broad upper level trough that is actually situated itself pretty much right over the center part of the U.S. And that is helping to kind of allow there to be some good instability, more or less, across portions of the deep south. Now, all night long, and even into this morning, this has also had the benefit of kind of a little bit of a low-level jet moving off the Gulf, and that has continued to bring in some very warm and moist air into parts of the deep south there. So that's going to be very beneficial for our thunderstorms when they do develop and the ones that are already developing. But there is also quite a bit in the way of wind shearing going on, which is another thing that we would really need when it comes to producing, good long track tornadoes there. Now, typically, you kind of need that wind shear for a lot of things in severe weather, but for our purposes today, just keep in mind that even though there is a high risk, especially as you go into Alabama, and maybe slightly further to the east, there is still going to be the possibility for tornadic activity. So even if your area is not under that high risk, keep in mind that we're still expecting at least the tornado aspect and to some degree the damaging wind aspect to extend a little bit outside of that area. So one thing that we are keeping in mind here, the SPC has also that's the Storm Prediction Center down in Norman, Oklahoma. And for at least formal purposes right now, we'll at least kind of pass on the information that they're putting out there. But they are saying that, again, they are continuing to expect that tornado outbreak. And again, as we go our way through the next few hours, even though a lot of the activity right now is out across Mississippi, we're going to be watching Alabama here because right now it's a little bit quiet there. But as that atmosphere continues to destabilize, we could very well be seeing when these storms begin to move their way into that area, as well as maybe any additional storms that develop out ahead of that. Again, we'll also be bringing the potential for, again, some long track tornado activities. That's just kind of a general overview, a little bit of what's going on. Now, this is going to be probably one of those events where, right now things are relatively speaking kind of on the quiet side, but that could change very quickly. So let's hop on over to the radar imagery here. And we're going to take a look kind of a little bit of what's going on here. There's a lot of things that are on this map here, but really the main thing that you need to keep in mind is we are tracking shower and thunderstorm activity right now that pretty much stretches all the way down towards around New Albany and then heading its way back to the Louisiana border as well as some of the Baton Rouge suburbs. Now, earlier on, not that long ago, we were actually tracking what may have been, again, kind of a little bit of a long track tornado that made its way pretty much near the Lake Providence, Louisiana area and out towards areas north of Yazoo City. Now, it does appear that that particular storm has maybe weakened up a little bit here, but it does give us an indication that already the atmosphere, especially in this area that we are watching, is already pretty favorable for the development of further tornadoes. So this could be one of those situations where, we might have a little bit of a lull and then, it kind of spikes up. But I will say, over the next couple of hours, we are expecting that things are going to probably begin to increase in terms of, not just the thunderstorm intensity, but the severe weather potential. Now, yesterday's severe weather event had to do a lot with straight line winds. Yes, we're probably going to eventually see a line of storms develop from this, but I'd say the big thing for the day today in this area is not so much going to be the winds, although there will be some of that. It is, as mentioned, going to be that probability for those tornadoes. So, again, are we expecting like a super outbreak type of situation? Not maybe necessarily, but again, in weather, sometimes things can kind of happen how they want to happen. But we are at least expecting possibly kind of at least a significant enough afternoon across parts of the deep south. So eventually, as we go into the overnight hours, this activity will probably continue to push its way eastward and then eventually weaken. Now, ironically, for those of you across the East Coast, there is a possibility for maybe a few severe thunderstorms in your area tomorrow as that same portion of the system makes its way over there, but probably not going to be quite to the scale of what we're expecting, at least right now, down across parts of the deep south. Right now, there are more blizzard warnings, ironically, than there are tornado warnings. I know, but this time of the year, when we're dealing with these type of systems, it's not unusual. We see this a lot during the wintertime months as well. If you got storms down south, you're probably going to have a snowstorm further up towards the north. Believe it or not, there are blizzard warnings not too far from where I'm from. But for the area that we're focusing in on, we're just going to be dealing with thunderstorms there. 2 active tornado warnings right now. The first one is going to be expiring in about another 25 minutes or so. This is a tornado warning that is in effect for Carroll and LaFleur counties, and that is in Mississippi. This was part of the same storm that earlier did appear that there may have been, again, a possible tornado at least. It does not appear that is currently ongoing, but there is still enough radar-indicated rotation with that storm. That tornado warning is there. This storm is located near Greenwood, and it's traveling northeast at about 50 miles an hour, which is actually kind of interesting because that typically is the general direction that tornadoes and also the speed that they like to go. I just find that kind of interesting. But regardless of the fact there, that warning in effect for another few minutes. We also have a brand new tornado warning that is just been issued. That's going to expire in another about hour or so. This one is going to be for northwestern Holmes County, southern Carroll County, as well as north central Yazoo County and Humphreys County. There is a severe thunderstorm there that is capable of producing a tornado near the city of Eden, and it is moving northeast at about 55 miles an hour. We'll come back to that storm as that is a brand new warning here. But the other tornado warning that we have is a little bit further down to the south, north of Macomb. That is a tornado warning that is in effect for central Lincoln County. And that is going to go here for, let's see here, they're expiring that at, let's see here. That warning goes for another about 10 minutes. So if we zoom in here a little bit on that brand new tornado warning, now keep in mind, you see there's a lot of activity kind of going on here. We'll see kind of exactly how this is going to shape up as we go through the afternoon. Likely what we're going to be getting is these very high precipitation supercells. So the features might not be quite as clear as what we would expect to see, when we're looking at, Oklahoma type of setups or whatnot. But regardless, we got enough radar equipment here that will be able to look into these storms here. So this brand new tornado warning that is issued, we're going to pop up a couple of different radars here. Now, we're going to be showing those as we go throughout the afternoon. Keep in mind that, the main one that you're used to seeing is this one here at the top left, but we meteorologists also look at other parts or other different types of radar measurements, especially when it comes to tornadoes. So the main thing here that you see on the right side of your screen, both top and bottom panels, those are velocity scans there. So the radar is measuring the wind direction in one of two directions. It's either going towards the radar or away from the radar. Greens typically are winds going towards the radar. Reds are winds going away from the tornado. And what we are looking for is areas where we see high values of opposing colors right up on each other. Now, you'll see as we go through the afternoon exactly kind of what we're talking about. But regardless of that fact here, the one that you see on the bottom left, that's going to be our correlation coefficient. We look at that particular radar to see if there is any debris within the storm. Now, again, this is a radar indicated tornado warning here, and it's looking like it's going to be for about this section right here of the storm as mentioned. That is going to be let's see here. It's located near Eden, moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put a quick time track on that here while we're on the topic. And basically what we are going to find here, we'll go ahead and close that down a little bit. It does appear that area of rotation is pretty much right around the Eden area. We're going to go ahead and we're going to track this storm out here, and we're going to put it, let's say we're just going to put it to Eden, and we'll bring it up towards the northeast here. So that's going to bring us to about 50 miles. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get this time track to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. We'll just put it to about here. Whoops, my bad. Let me go ahead and redo that. Whoops, did it again. Boy, you can tell it's going to be one of those days, where my hands are not going to be the best at setting these things up. So we'll go ahead and do it at about 55 miles an hour. And here's what we got here. Pluto in about 6 minutes-ish or so. Thornton about 9 minutes. And it's also going to put it near, let's see, Chula in about 20 minutes or so. And Adair in about the next 30 minutes, as well as the Seven Pines area. So keep in mind, though, folks, that this is a straight line plot. Sometimes when we see with tornadoes is that they will not necessarily always go in a straight line. So just kind of keep that in mind when we do share these. But it does help to at least kind of give a general approximation of, when you can be expecting to see the storm. So as mentioned, quite a bit in the way of wind shear here. Atmospheric capabilities doing pretty good. We also got this guy down here around Greensboro. That'll be another one to keep an eye on, especially since this one is a little bit further away from a lot of the other activity that is going on. So continuing to watch that storm there. Just pulling up another radar here. Let's take a look if we could see anything with that Eden storm. Right now it appears that it is now just to the northeast there. It is still showing some signs there. We'll see exactly how this thing develops, and of course if we get any observations. Now earlier, Michael, we had quite a few storms that were moving across the Mississippi River Valley in Louisiana, parts of Arkansas, and I know that you have been seeing quite a bit in the way of some damage reports coming up on Facebook. Anything new that has been popping up on your end?
Yeah, not new in terms of damage there, Timmy, and it's good joining you again. It's been a while. It's good to see you. And it looks like you got that internet fixed.
I know, right? Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, there you go. So let me show a couple things here that has just recently popped up. If I can find it on here. And so one thing, Timmy, that we're looking at here, and I can, and you're gonna be back here in just a second, I know. With that here is the cloud cover. Take a look at this. A lot of sunshine there, especially in eastern Mississippi and the Georgia area into the Panhandle. A lot of sun here. That's going to fuel these storms here as they develop here throughout the day. So that's something that is just adding fuel to the fire here with what we've got. And let me show you here if I can pull it up. I don't have it saved here yet. But the National Weather Service here has all hands on deck, obviously, with what they're going through here. But basically, where this line of storms is now through the Mississippi area, that's the greatest threat for long track, intense to violent tornadoes through mid-afternoon here. So they've hatched it out for us. With that, I'm going to pull up the radar here just so we can see exactly what we're looking at. But first, let's go back to, here we go, share. So we do have an updated severe weather outlook here from the Storm Prediction Center. The high risk area has stayed the same. There's no change to this. And that's the purple pinkish area there. But you see a little bit of the threat is moving northward. So Tennessee you're in the threat here today. So if you live in Tennessee, or nobody who lives in Tennessee here, you're part of the threat here for the severe weather that's going to be taking place there. And then the slight risk goes all the way up to southern Indiana here, where I just noticed some flood watches have taken place here. So quite a bit of rainfall, much needed rainfall, no doubt about that. But quite a bit of rainfall here falling here recently. So a lot going on, a lot to talk about here. And Timmy, as you mentioned there, you had the snow that's fallen in portions of the United States here. I am going to real quick, before I toss it back to you, share with you the power outage map. Okay, so here's Mississippi here. So for the most part, pretty good. The storms are just developing here. And the prediction here, especially in central Mississippi area, and where the sun is shining bright right now, all the ingredients are there for tornadoes to possibly develop here with these storms. And so this map might change, and we'll keep an eye on it as we continue on our coverage throughout the day today.
Yeah, and not only that, but with the power outages that do happen, and those are very tricky. I remember when I was working in broadcast, so you lose power, no one can suddenly see your broadcast. So, of course, with iPhones nowadays, it's a little bit easier to get around that, which is why you should make sure you follow us here on good old Weather Valet. All right. That was my attempt at a sales pitch. It's the best I could do. All nice. Right. All right. So, speaking of, again, some power outages there in the state of Mississippi, and as Michael showed just a few moments ago, he was showing that the SPC has hatched out again across parts of southeastern Mississippi. They're expecting that activity to continue. And so if we flip on the radar here, there are two particular storms that will be worth watching. Now, this one had tornado warning on it earlier. That warning, it looks like, has been allowed to expire. This is just past the Brookhaven area. The area of rotation that we're watching appears to be right around the Wesson area and a little bit to the west-southwest of New Hebron. Now, with that in mind, this storm, although it does not have tornado warning on it, at least on the radar imagery, is still showing at least some type of, supercellular structure, maybe not the best defined, but that might be a storm that's worth watching. And we're talking about this guy right here. The downside is it's got a little bit of stuff in the way. But if that manages to maybe clear out a little bit, or if this storm can overcome that, I would not be surprised if a warning came back on that. Now we'll flip on down to the state of Louisiana here, going over towards the city of Greensburg here. This looks like an outdated radar image. It's a little strange there on that one. So we'll flip back on over to our Jackson radar, where we do have that one. That storm has just recently, for the past couple minutes, has been given a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, this storm right now does show that it does have some rotation, especially aloft. We'll see if it's maybe able to start mixing that rotation down a little bit further. But that severe thunderstorm warning right now, that area of rotation is just maybe a mile northeast of Greensburg. This storm is moving to the northeast. So Kentwood, and that area, as well as up towards the Mississippi state line, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Keep in mind that sometimes with these supercells, things do kind of change pretty quickly as well. So right now, this is, like I said, a severe thunderstorm warning. It does have the tornado possible tag on it. So it does appear that the National Weather Service is also expecting that this storm might further develop and be able to possibly produce a tornado. But again, right now, that is Greensburg, Louisiana, heading northeast towards the Mississippi state border. And parts of Macomb, Mississippi are included in that warning.
And Jimmy, I pause you here. You do have a new warning there just south of Jackson if you want to pull that up there. And as you're pulling that up there, I will let you know that the Storm Prediction Center here at any moment here within the hour is looking at issuing a PDS tornado watch for much of the region that we're talking about right here, going from the Gulf Coast all the way up to northern Mississippi. And so it's going to cover quite a bit of an area here. So as you pull that map up here, know that a PDS tornado watch is coming shortly.
Yeah, and that is, and we don't see those PDS watches very often. Those are typically reserved for situations where we are expecting, and again, PDS stands for particularly dangerous situation, and those are typically reserved, those types of watches for derecho type of events and ones where we may be seeing the potential for significant tornadoes. So yes, there's tornado watch and then there's PDS tornado watch. That being said, with what's going on right now, and so as for that new tornado warning that you were mentioning, this is that storm we were just talking about northeast of Brookhaven, Mississippi. That tornado warning has been issued. There is a little bit of a signature of it right there on the velocity image. That is, again, not the strongest signature that we've ever seen, but it is certainly one nonetheless. We'll keep an eye out here to see if something touches down. We'll start seeing kind of some more yellows and blues popping up here around where the debris would be. But right now, yes, that tornado warning is in effect, and that is going to be for northeastern Lincoln County, Simpson County, Lawrence County, and parts of Copiah County, and that is in central Mississippi. That goes for another about 55 minutes or so. Radar indicated rotation on that. This thing is also possibly packing a little bit of hail with it, which is what we'd expect sometime with these supercell thunderstorms. Again, nothing observed at the moment, but given the activity today, would not be surprised if we do see that. We'll keep an eye on this little guy right here, too, just south of Silver Creek. Again, it might not look like much right now, but with the way the atmosphere is set up, it doesn't have to be spectacular for it to, potentially start really developing up here. So we'll keep an eye on that. No warning on that storm right now. There does appear to maybe be at least a little bit of maybe kind of a little mesocyclone trying to develop in that. We'll keep an eye on that particular thunderstorm. As for that watch there, yes, right now the area that we're talking about is also under a PDS tornado watch. The area Michael was just talking about with the SBC, that's going to be a little bit further over to this area. And again, this is the area that we really expect to be seeing the majority of the severe weather. The city of Nashville is also no stranger to having its own severe weather events. There, of course, had a couple of tornadoes in Nashville's history that have gone through the city itself, one in 98 and then one in 2020. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect there just south of Clarksville. That song from the Monkees. Last train to Clarksville, but in this situation, it looks like if you're trying to catch the train there, it'll be a little bit on the rainy side. Clarksville is not in that severe thunderstorm warning. This is mainly for some locally gusty winds. We're not seeing much in the way of rotation activity, but I will say, much like Alabama, you can see that there's not a whole lot going on across parts of southeast Tennessee. So even though they're not in the high risk area either, places like Tennessee, Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, Tennessee, those are also areas no stranger to tornadoes that we might also have to be keeping an eye on. So while you're going to hear Mississippi and Alabama, keep on that parts of Tennessee and parts of Georgia could also maybe be seeing this activity, but maybe a little bit later. But all things considered, there you go. This is the current tornado watch that we do have that is in effect, stretches from Alexandria, Louisiana, all the way down to Baton Rouge, and then just outside of the New Orleans metro. We are tracking 4 tornado warnings that are in effect right now. We have tornado warnings up around the Grenada, Mississippi area, Greenwood itself, and going down towards the Chula area just north of Yazoo City. Again, kind of this little bit of a line here, but there are enough kinks in it here and there that we have been seeing areas of rotation. And naturally, again, this was also part of that same thing that produced what does appear to be at least a likely tornado. Now, we're not quite sure exactly how strong. It did see a few damage photos from that, but that would have been down around Aguila and Mayersville, just north of Rolling Fork, which itself a few years ago was hit by a very, very strong high-end EF4 tornado. Borderline F5 tornado, but it ended up being just EF4. But so again, this is an area that is no stranger to these types of severe weather events. And we're going to be watching this radar, and as Michael mentioned, it is clear over here. Not much the way of cloud cover, as opposed to here in Mississippi, where we are seeing a good amount of cloud cover. But what we are seeing, as mentioned, we're going to hold up again here. Take a look here at our SPC map. See if we can get that pulled back up here. Let's take a look at some of the points. That is going to be arriving with that here. There we go. Up here for us. And not only clear, it's we're looking at
Timmy, I'm going to stop you here. I think we lost you with your connection here. Sorry about that. But once you get back here, just holler at me, and hopefully we'll be able to hear you soon. But let your internet reset there with what you're doing. So as Timmy's talking about here, several tornado warnings now here in this line of storms as predicted. And I've been watching down here. Let's zoom in down here to the Kentwood area. That's an older radar image there. The Kentwood area here, it's not under a tornado warning at this time, but I was just kind of pinning around the radar here. So quite a bit of rotation starting to form right here in the southwest part of the severe thunderstorm warning. So just to the south and west of Kentwood, some rotation there. So if you're in that area, possible rotation in your area with that. So you're under a right now a severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado winds, 60 mile per hour, golf ball size hail. So quite a bit of damage in this area if you happen to be in the Kentwood area. And so as we make our way northward here, let's take a look at the map here of a radar indicated tornado with $half size hail with this storm here into the east of the western area with that heading towards Georgetown. And so let's take a look here at the velocity. So nothing tight right here with the image that we're looking at right this second, but nonetheless, tornado warning in effect here. So if you're in the Georgetown area, the Mendenhall area, and any points to the south and west, you need to be taking shelter right now. Making our way north of Jackson here. Let's go north of Jackson, where we've got 4 tornado warnings combined here with this storm. And so we've got a line that's formed right here with these storms, and then several areas here where there's a possible tornado here, and get an alert of an updated tornado as well. I'll pull out in a second with this here. So the National Weather Service has at 11:50 here, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Eden or 10 miles north of Yazoo City, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. And so let's zoom in here a little bit and add the is this the closest radar to look at? Maybe not. With that, is that Memphis radar? It's a little too far away. Let's go to the Jackson radar here. All right. So with the reds and greens coming together, as Timmy was talking about there, we've got a little bit of rotation forming here, but we've got some very strong wind gusts and likely some large hail within that storm here. And we're watching this area right here of a possible, some possible areas here where some rotation can develop in that. And so those are the 2 areas that we're looking at here. And just as we mentioned, that new tornado warning right down here in the Kentwood area. In the Kentwood area, they saw what we saw here with this. And so quite a bit of rotation in the Kentwood area. So if you live there, you need to be taking shelter immediately and making sure that you're at the lowest level of a sturdy building. And if you don't have one, basement, that is, if you don't have a basement, then look to get to that first floor, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So quite a bit going on here in the Mississippi area. We've got multiple tornado warnings, and this thing is going to continue all day long. And so we'll over the next several hours here, get through Mississippi, and then Alabama will be up next with this, including the Florida Panhandle. So you're all in the risk here for severe weather with that. And so let me check on Timmy here. And there's Timmy.
Hey. Oh,
hey, we can hear you.
What are you going to do with the internet? Yeah, they have that new tornado warning on that storm now down there in Kentwood, Louisiana. That'll be heading up here. Looks like it will be staying south of the Macomb area, that particular thunderstorm, just based on the latest radar scans there. But I will say areas south, that's going to be Chattawa, that area, especially once you get towards closer to the Louisiana state line with that particular tornado warning down there in the south. I was looking at it on the radar here in between my internet working and not working. And again, it does really kind of begin to show that circulation is tightening up. That mesocyclone is actually getting a bit stronger. And, just based on what we're expecting for the day today, I would not be surprised if this storm will be producing maybe a tornado here in just a little bit. its radar signature on the velocities is really kind of becoming a bit more organized now. And I think because there really isn't much in the way of the inflow of this thunderstorm, this guy probably might not be having a hard time. So that tornado warning does include Tylertown, Mississippi here. So again, all of Waltall County. And then we'll keep an eye out. Maybe Marion County, the city of Columbia, Mississippi, might also be another area, maybe just a little bit here that will be in the path of that particular storm. So again, that is the only tornado warning that we have right now in the state of Louisiana, but that storm is going to be moving out of Louisiana here shortly. Again, the city of Macomb, it does not look like that storm is really going to be approaching you. Now, you're going to have some thunder and lightning as it is in the city of Macomb, but the rotation aspect that we're watching right now is still south of the state line. Based on the track of that, that is going to be staying south of Macomb and probably south of Magnolia, Mississippi as well. But Tylertown, Marion County, and then eventually, Tylertown, southern Whitehall County, and then eventually Marion County here will be in the path of that. And like I said, with the way it's starting to look, shape up on the velocities here, it is an intensifying thunderstorm nonetheless. So something that we'll definitely want to be keeping an eye on. Obviously, still too early to tell if that'll be something for the Hattiesburg or Waynesboro, Laurel parts of Mississippi there, but we'll just have to see how that transpires. Still a little bit further away for that. Tornado warning continues south of Jackson. That is for Mendenhall and just east of Hazelhurst. That storm is showing some signatures of rotation. And also, hold on a quick second here. We just got a new radar scan popping up, and we were just talking about Macomb, actually. And let me pull something up here on the velocities. There's no warning there at the moment, but it did look like there was at least a little bit of a notch there from this portion of the storm. We'll see here if we can't pull it up here. Again, nothing immediate at the moment with that particular area there. Looks like it's not going to be popping up much here. Just interesting, a little radar scan there. Looks like this radar image is a little outdated, so we're going to have to flip back up to Jackson here. But anyways, that being said, keep an eye on that here really quickly. But again, that main area of rotation, as I mentioned, is south of is going to be staying south of Macomb. All right, let's go back up to our good friends here near Georgetown and New Hebron. Michael, I am starting to see what looks to maybe be the some indication that this storm has really gotten better organized here. Still not very strong rotation, but it is still showing some rotation nonetheless. And also this area right here around Silver Creek, again, no warning on that, but that is also starting to show signs on the radar imagery here that it may also be trying to start to develop something here. So we'll see how that affects this guy. Again, no warning on that one north of Prentice, but we're going to keep an eye on that, especially as it kind of tracks its way a bit towards the north. Like I said, right now I would say the signatures that we're seeing, let's take a look at this situation up here around Grenada in the Duck Hill area, Winona. That's all going to be down there just west of Starkville, way west of Starkville. You'll notice that we have three separate lines at the moment. We have the main line back here. Let me go ahead and turn off these other radars really quickly here to help, kind of clear it up a bit. But we've got this main line right here. We have this grouping of storms, no warnings on that. And then we have this third grouping of storms. So if you're looking around Starkville, Columbus, West Point, this is what you're looking at. But so far, most of what we've been talking about is actually in the final echelon back there towards Grenada, Winona, and the Greenwood area. Now, this is kind of showing some signs that there might still be some decent rotation within that. Again, nothing observed yet with that with this particular warning. But again, this section here does have a history of producing at least some tornadic activity. I do want to go back down to that one near the Kentwood area here.
Yeah, so as you pull that up there, yeah, take a look at that one. Look at the signature of the storm as you zoom in there. You're starting to see a little bit of that hook forming. And so I'm hoping it gets through Kentwood here before this thing really develops. And it looks like this thing could develop into a fairly decent tornado.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, it's just going to be, this kind of gives us an idea of the potential environment that we're seeing across much of Alabama. Again, you can see right now there's no activity nearby that particular thunderstorm. Well, there is, but not in the, not out in front of it. So it's a very untapped air mass, relatively speaking, at least, for the, you know, well, over the past couple of hours, I guess I should say. But yeah, that storm as it comes up on Kentwood and everything here, having troubles getting the latest radar from Hammond to come in here. So we'll just flip back on up to the Jackson radar. That's okay. It's not too far away. Well, it's a little bit far away from the Jackson radar, but it'll get a bit closer. But here's what Michael was talking about. You can start seeing a little bit of that hook starting to show up there, albeit this is a little far out for the radar's range. But nonetheless, this is the section that we're talking about. It does appear that at the moment it's right over Kentwood here. So if there is something on the ground, we'll probably find out here in just a few moments. But if nothing else, like I said, we'll certainly keep an eye on this Tylertown. And I'll tell you what, Michael, the latest velocity scan coming out of the Hammond office might indicate that there might actually be something very, very close at the moment. I'm seeing the potential possibility that there may even be a debris signature now on this, or getting very close to, hard to tell. Let's take a look here. It's still radar indicated at the moment, but it does look like this has tightened up quite a bit here. While we're trying to get that to be loaded here, Michael, we may have to flip to yours because for some reason I'm not getting the Hammond radar imagery to load here on this particular program, but I do have it on another one running. I just can't show it. But
yeah, let me change here. I just got some new information here. The Kentwood tornado has been updated. So let me.
It's observed. It's observed. Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. All right. So I was looking up, and we've got a storm chaser in the Winona area. So taking a look at, I was watching that feed there for a second as these tornado warning storms are headed towards his direction there. But let's go back down here. Oops, if I click on it correctly. That radar's still very behind with this here. So here's the radar. So the storms move through the Kentwood area, and so we're seeing the rotation. This says it right over Kentwood right this second. The rotation right over Kentwood this second. It's usually delayed a few minutes, so odds are it's just past Kentwood right now. But as we take a look here, let me click on the warnings. We got an observed tornado with golf ball size hail. Tornado warning remains in effect until 1 o'clock local time for this area here. A confirmed tornado was located near Oskia, or 15 miles northeast of Greensburg, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. So it's a radar confirmed tornado. Radar confirmed tornado here in this area that has just gone through the Kentwood area, and it's heading towards Tylertown. So the intersection there of 27 and 98. So if you're in between there, know anybody in between there, this is the tornado warning storm here for the next 38 minutes. Let me check here. You just holler when you're ready, Timmy, with your radar. I was just going to check any new information coming in here from Louisiana.
Yeah, give me another moment here. I'm just trying to see if it loads. If not, it's not a big deal. We can keep yours up since yours is working. Yeah, it does look like it is now actually northeast of Kentwood, not by much. But that was the scan from about 5 minutes ago. So we should be getting another scan here relatively quickly. Not to take away from it, but while we're kind of waiting on that next scan here, a quick moment, I do want to show the folks at home here just a little bit of what's going on the latest weather map, if you don't mind here. Let's just kind of set it into context. Okay, you know what? We'll do that in a moment here. Hey, the latest scan, like I said, mine's not pulling up Hammond for some reason, but I do have it on another thing, and it does look like, Michael, that scan, that debris signature may have gotten a bit bigger on it there on the CCs. Now, again, this is past. This is going to be, from the looks of it right now, based on this particular scan, this is staying north of Osaka or Osaka. Apologies if we're mispronouncing that town name wrong. It's right on the border pretty much. And yeah, there is a little bit of a signature there, but it does look like it's going to be staying south and east of that town. Not by much, but by a good enough distance here. That debris signature is just about ready to cross into Mississippi itself, and it'll be doing that just slightly east of the Osaka area. Other towns that are probably going to be in the path of this here shortly, again, Tylertown in Walthall County. I would say for the moment, especially areas south of US 98, I would go ahead and that's the area mainly focusing on the northern part of the county right now. We'll have to see how it tracks, but I do, at least right now, it doesn't appear, if we were to just draw a straight line, that it would be affecting the northern portion of Walthall County, but the southern portion especially. And then again, going a little bit further into the future here, Columbia and Marion County, as well as Foxworth, Morgantown, all that part in Mississippi, Sandy Hook, all those communities there will probably eventually also be in the path here, or at least at some point, some of those communities could be. So that's, like I said, looking a little bit further downstream. Right now, the storm is, aside from the Osaka area, there are a few highways. That's going to be possibly State Highway 575, State Highway 48, from let's just say Highway 48 from Magnolia all the way to Tylertown. Again, keep it'll be affecting that area there. Certainly going to be difficult driving regardless with the heavy rain associated with that storm. But again, still way too early to tell, Michael, if the community of Hadesburg and Laurel,
we've just got an update here. This is a PDS tornado warning now, a particularly dangerous situation. PDS, an observed tornado on the ground, in this area that you're talking about. That is becoming considerable here. So it's a big deal here. And also, I just put on here that there is now a PDS, particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch in effect for southeastern Louisiana and most of Mississippi until 8 p.m. tonight. So it says numerous strong tornadoes expected, scattered hail up to tennis ball sizes likely, and scattered wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour. So quite a bit going on here with this. But in the meantime, I'll get change from this watch here. But we've got this PDS tornado warning here that we've been taking a look at here for the last several minutes, following along here just as the National Weather Service is doing.
We may also have I'm going to steal the radar here. This is looking a little bit further north now. We're going to go up to northern Mississippi. We're looking about west of Amory, southwest of Smithville. We're going to be kind of in the northern part of the state here. Give me a quick second to get my bearings. Brand new tornado warning. Storm located just north of Houston down in Mississippi. Now, this one does have the indication that there may be a little bit in the way. I'm going old school with it. I still got my good old paper map here, even in today's technological world. But I do want to point out that particular storm, again, we're looking down around the Houston area. So that's Chickasha County. That has a brand new tornado warning on it. That tornado warning is going to include Okolana, Shauna, Verona, and then Tupelo. Right now, it's just radar indicated, but we do see there is a little bit of a tightening here on the velocity imagery right there. You can kind of see that translating a bit here on the reflectivity. I do not see a debris signature at the moment. Unlike the one that we were just talking about down in parts of Louisiana. But again, that tornado warning, brand new. It does include, like I said, the city of Okolana, Verona, as well as Tupelo, Mississippi. Storm located just north of Houston. This storm is moving to the northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and put a little bit of a track on it. Let's do a good old-fashioned 45 miles an hour here, track on this storm. And let's take a look here at some of the communities that could be in the path of that. As mentioned, Shannon, potentially in about 20 minutes or so. Palmetto, about 25 minutes. Tupelo, about 30 to 40 minutes out there. So, again, brand new tornado warning. Right now, it is radar indicated. We'll see here if that changes, but that does include, as mentioned, the city of Tupelo, Mississippi, and that goes for at least another 45 minutes. Also tracking that storm near Grenada, and that, again, does still have some indications that there may be at least some rotation going on with that storm. Nothing observed at the moment, but obviously the big kind of main one that we were talking about is that storm that is just now crossing out of Louisiana, making its way into Mississippi. It came out of the it came out of the Kentwood, Louisiana area just a little bit ago, and it does appear, Michael, that storm now is just crossing into Mississippi in the southern part of Walthall County. So that'll be something to keep an eye out here. My apologies for moving the radar there and making it look like one of those Technicolor shows there. Let me get the good old-fashioned radar pulled back up here. But yeah, so that being said, just a quick overlay, and there is that brand new Tornado Watch now showing up on my end too. Yeah, that includes all
going into Alabama there. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So quite a bit here, but yeah, just well, I guess we'll still call this the Kentwood tornado right now, but there's still quite a bit of rotation in this area here with this tornado. So just to the south and west of Tylertown, we got a lot going on here, and I know sometimes we don't always understand probabilities and so forth, but the National Weather Service did put out here that the probability of a strong tornado, like an EF3 to EF5 tornado, is at 95% with this new tornado watch, Mississippi, Alabama area. So the ingredients are there. The ingredients are there. Let's hope it doesn't come to fruition. And but at this point right now, what we're seeing so far with multiple tornado warnings, that these storms are really loving the environment that they're getting into.
Yeah, and let's talk about that environment here really quickly. If we take a look at the latest weather map, I know you see a lot of front symbols there, but the main thing really that's going on here is we have a very strong area of low pressure that is just getting ready to pass not too far from where I am, as this cold front that stretches all the way down into the central part of the plains. New area of low pressure kind of trying to get itself organized around Arkansas, and that cold front is trying to push its way now again through parts of the Mississippi Valley. And this is a very strong system, as we mentioned have before. Now, with the upper levels right now, what we got going on is we have this very broad upper level trough, and it extends all the way out here across a good portion of the central U.S. And this is creating just a very favorable upper level environment for, a lot of lift to be going on there with the development of surface low pressures, which is what we're seeing. But what makes this, also a very traumatic type of situation is that, you have the winds aloft at about 20,000, 30,000 feet coming out of the southwest, but down at the surface, we have the winds coming straight out of the south. And that is what we call wind shear in meteorology. So it's the change of wind speed and direction with height. And if you are a tornado, tornadoes spin. They absolutely love that. You kind of need wind shear for a tornado to, kind of develop here. So in this situation, we have ample amount of wind shear, and some values as high, at least in the bulk shear of 50 to 70 knots. So that is a very favorable wind shear environment. Not only that, but this is also a very warm and moist air mass here. Again, this fill colors that you see, those are dew point values, and you can see they are in the 60s, even a little bit higher than that, into the lower 70s in some spots along the immediate Gulf Coast. If you're a low pressure, this is a great air mass for you. It helps to, it's a lot less dense to pick up. Moisture is good for thunderstorms in general because it needs moisture. But again, so we have an alignment of a lot of factors. And as Michael did say, there's not too much cloud cover right now out across parts of especially eastern Alabama and Georgia. Now, that could change a little bit. But what we are seeing, though, is that it's been fairly quiet here throughout the morning. And so this is a very good kind of primed area this is a very primed area right now for thunderstorm development. And as soon as we get this system to track a little bit more towards the east and we start seeing that instability increasing, right now there is a little bit of a capping inversion over parts of eastern Alabama. But again, as we go through the afternoon, that's going to erode away. We're going to see this activity really begin to kind of spread out a little bit. We do actually have ourselves a brand new tornado warning that is also in effect. Now, this tornado warning is going to be for a couple of counties here. It's kind of a combination of these two warnings back here. It does include Europa as well as the Vidin area here. Right now, just radar indicated. It looks like this is probably going to be kind of a precautionary tornado warning. We'll keep an eye on this here at the moment. Like I said, there are quite a few parts or areas that we are going to be watching within this whole thing. But I will tell you, this might be kind of the main line, but what's really going to be interesting is what we get to develop out ahead of the main line. And part of that is that Kentwood tornado that we've been talking about. Again, this is still an observed tornado. It's a PDS tornado warning, not quite a tornado emergency, but still pretty significant nonetheless. I'm looking at it here on the radar imagery. We still have those high velocity values, the storm relative. And we are also seeing, again, a little bit of that correlation coefficient going on here. So all things considered, this is still likely it does have a tornado on the ground. Again, it's a bit too difficult to say exactly how strong it might be. Keep in mind that maybe the reason why we're not seeing so much debris signature is because this is generally kind of a rural area, but it is coming up on Tylertown here, or it's going to be passing very close to Tylertown itself. So again, I would say, like I said, US 98, especially west of Tylertown. This is going to stay well south of Macomb right now. It does not appear that's going to be going anywhere near Macomb, being way up here. But again, this particular storm, given this environment and everything, like I said, now keep in mind, Michael's, one thing that we'll have to kind of keep in mind here is that, the city of Hattiesburg, Mississippi is, just 2 counties over from where this is. Now, again, we're not exactly quite sure how this thing is going to track completely over the next, let's say, hour or so, but getting closer to Hattiesburg, I will say, based on what we're seeing now, too, right now it's in Walthall County, but it'll be going next into Marion County, and at least the way this storm is tracking right now, does indicate that, again, places like Columbia, we may have to be talking about here in a little bit. New radar scan, that debris signature is still there, Michael. Here it is. It does look like it has lifted a little bit more towards the north. So we'll keep an eye out here to see exactly how this thing is going to track. Other counties, too, that may eventually be impacted by the storm: Jefferson, Covington, and Lamar. So right now it's in Walthall County. We'll see exactly how it tracks here. I will say that it does appear that if this storm does continue on its path, I would probably say the southern part of Marion County, at least especially the further south you get in that portion, will probably end up staying a little bit away from this guy, but still, it's a little too early to tell. But I will say the latest radar imagery from the Hammond office, they're still showing that debris signature, very clearly showing a very impressive velocity scan, right around this area. So again, kind of rural area, a lot of forests out across this part here, just north of the Louisiana state line, but starting to become a really well-developed supercell thunderstorm. Let's also take.
Yeah, and I'm going to switch over my radar real quick, Timmy, as you go ahead and keep going here. But I just want so you can see here as well the warm front starting to lift up in the Tennessee here. So expect a tornado watch to become an effect here shortly in the central Tennessee area for some possible tornadoes with this. And I've been keeping an eye on this storm here in the Tupelo area with this. But on the radar itself, if you're just taking a look at the reflectivity here, it doesn't seem like you see a whole lot. However, you go inside that tornado warning a little bit, and you still see a little bit of rotation taking place on the southwest part of that tornado warned storm. And again, that's headed towards the Tupelo area. So a little bit more of a heavily populated area in that as well. So continuing to watch these storms here develop and become severe very quickly with that. And as you've been talking about, the atmosphere is just primed for some of these storms to develop here with this and with that. And so again, going back to some probabilities, looking at some things here, the storm net probability here in the in Mississippi and Alabama is at over 80% tornado probability through this area over the next 3 hours.
Yeah, those are some pretty high values. I mean, I will say too, while we're on the subject here of doing severe thunderstorm roundup here, that tornado warning that is in effect down around the Mendenhall area, so that's Simpson County, eventually going into Smith County. That storm looks like it might be cycling yet again. So I will steal the radar here really quickly, and then you can steal it back. But what we're looking at right now is Mendenhall. We have this tornado warning that is in effect. You start to see this hook feature starting to become a bit more prominent now. So this storm is just ingesting warm and moist air into into itself here. So that's very good setup about going into the heavy meteorological explanation for it, which.
And Timmy, just to the south of that, we've got a new PDS tornado warning. If you want to scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, and let's take a look here. So they're tracking this thing. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be tracking it north of Columbia now here. So I will say if it continues on this track, it's going to be staying away from Hadesburg. But it does bring it into Simpson County as well as northern Marion County. So we were talking about how places, the southern part of Marion County, are probably going to miss out on it based on the new warning that does appear to be likely. There, of course, like I said, the Weather Service is looking at the same information that we're looking at here. So yeah, that is going to be out ahead of that storm. So we had this original tornado warning right here. That's probably going to be allowed to expire. Here's the new, filler tornado warning, and that is still a PDS. Again, I'm looking at it here on the signatures, Michael. There it is. You can start seeing the debris signature. This is from the Jackson Weather Radar Office here, not the Hammond one, but the fact that we're able to see it from that distance is pretty impressive. So that is a tornado that is on the ground. And that's a pretty decent one here. As for Tylersville itself, just pacing it out the way it looks, it's probably going to be passing pretty close to Tyler's. To Tyler's, wow, I just cannot say that name, Tylertown. It's probably going to be passing very close to Tylertown here, so I would not say that Tylertown is going to get missed by it quite yet, but we'll have to see how it tracks. Now, again, this is tornado on the ground. We do not know how large it is, but based on what we're seeing with the debris, it's at least an intense tornado in the sense that we can see that debris signature pretty far out from the radar, which is typically indicative of a very well structured, potentially intense tornado there. So certainly not one to be necessarily taking lightly. And so far, this tornado has been on the ground for a good at least 20 minutes or so, I'd say, Michael. Since we've really been watching it since it came out of Kentwood. It looked like it probably touched down right around just northeast of Kentwood or very close to it. And now it's approaching the Tylertown area. So again, just looking straight off the map here, northern Marion County, southern Lawrence County is going to be in the path of this thing here. Again, it's still northern Walthall County and southern Lawrence County are going to be in the path of this thing. Again, it's still too close or too early to tell if this thing is going to be coming right up on Tylertown. But for right now, let's just assume it will be making it into Tylertown, but it could track just north. And actually, latest radar scan looks like that might be happening here.
Yeah, and I just switching the radar here so you can see exactly what you're talking about here, and you're starting to see the inflow here into the storm here, Tim. If you want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing on the structure of this supercell.
Yeah, so what's going on here with this storm is that when we get these hook echo type of features, again, there's a lot of wind shearing going on. So the updraft is kind of pushed a little bit here. And so that gives it kind of this hook-like feature. Now, that clear slot in there, we typically would like that to be rain-free because, again, precipitation is going to be causing things to kind of cool a little bit. And it's a bit heavier air for that storm to lift. But having cleared or having at least precipitation-free, warm, humid air, that storm is ingesting it into itself. And, again, it creates that hook feature. Again, that is without going into the heavy details here about how supercells work. But that being said, though, what we're looking at here on the radar is a very good signature, not just on the reflectivity, but also on the velocities. Now, this thing is rotating, and like I said, that debris signature is just continuing to be present, but it does look like it is staying north of Tylertown, but it is literally about to cross US 98 here. If it hasn't already, it'll be doing so in about maybe a minute here. This storm is tracking here, so again, it's going to take it north of Tylertown. So that's in the northern Walthall County here. I'm looking for some other towns that could eventually be in the path of this thing. Let's just say JS and Morgantown. We'll see how that thing shapes out to be. But Obviously, just a very impressive signature there on the radar imagery. Certainly right now, probably one of our stronger thunderstorms going on in the area. Now, I am going to steal the radar here for a moment, Michael, because not only do we have that thing going on around Tylertown, but we also have potentially another tornado getting ready to develop here. And this is going to be just south of Mendenhall. And the way this thing might track is that could very well bring it into Mendenhall or very close to it. There's a second area of rotation that is located near Maggie. Again, that though is still looking like it's trying to get organized. We were talking about that a little bit ago, how this particular thunderstorm here, we'll have to see. It's still maybe trying to get itself a bit organized, but much like what we're seeing down near Tylertown, this one too is now starting to clear up a little bit. It's starting to get better organized, and we're starting to see more of those features there. So it'll be very interesting, actually, if we get any storm reports here. And I'm actually going to make sure we haven't missed any, Michael. Coming out of that particular area, because I will say with these velocities, these are pretty grouped up tightly here. And so this thing itself might be getting ready to produce a tornado, and given the environment, it could very well be a situation similar to what they're seeing down in Tylertown. Air South down in Mendenhall. Yeah, let's take a look at that thing. It'd be helpful if they could clear that up there. What direction do you happen to know that is looking, Michael?
Yeah, so I believe we're looking from the Mendenhall area. So I'll continue to monitor this here. We've got another PDS tornado warning here. I'm trying to find out exactly where.
That's the Mendenhall one.
Is that the Mendenhall one? Okay.
Yeah, so let's see here if I can't pull up the signature. But again, looks like it from what we were just talking about here. It is probably just dropped, or it is just gotten that signature here. They're calling it observed. It's right. This thing is passing right over Mendenhall here, so we're going to find out very quickly here. So that is Mendenhall. Again, we're north here of that Tylertown storm. This is Mendenhall. That's Simpson County. With the way that thing is going to lift, it could bring it into parts of let's see here, Scott County. Summit. Wow. Try that again. Parts of Smith County here, especially in the National Forest area. So again, not a very populated area once it does get past Mendenhall, but it could also bring it in towards parts of southeastern Franklin County, so the town of Puckett and probably not Thomasville, but we'll have to keep an eye on that area there too. So overall, it is like I said, this is becoming a lot more defined on the radar imagery. I have not yet seen a well-defined debris signature as I have with the Tylerville one, or the Tylertown one, excuse me. But the Tylertown one is also really, really, really in good shape here. This storm is very impressive looking. We can take a look at it here on the radar imagery. So again, this is Tylertown. There's that debris signature just northwest of the town. It's going to be heading its way towards State Highway 27 here. Again, we're expecting this storm is mainly going to be staying north of the city of Columbia with the way it's tracking, but it still could bring it in towards some other areas such as Prentice and stuff in Jefferson County. As for the one that we were just talking about, it's this guy, Mendenhall, right now. Latest radar scan does suggest that this storm is now pretty much right over Mendenhall. I have not yet seen any type of debris signature, but I will say that it is it is much more defined. It is observed. This is a PDS tornado warning that is in effect, and they're going to extend that warning now. That PDS tornado warning is going to be extended, and that's going to be brought into parts of Franklin County as well as Smith County here. So that's going to be the National Forest area is included in that particular warning, as well as Polkville and Phuket. So we will definitely keep an eye on that thing here. Also, they learned that there's put out another tornado warning or not. No, it does not appear that they did there. So again, both of those tornadoes are observed, the one near Mendenhall and the other one. And we do actually have a report of a tornado now. Structural damage to roads blocked, likely a tornado that was northeast of Kentville. that happened about a half hour ago, which lines up with what we've been seeing on the radar imagery. It does look like now that they are going to put a tornado warning on that second storm. So there's the one in Mendenhall right here. Then there's a second storm that is just north of Maggie. They're putting a tornado warning on that. That is a separate tornado warning from the PDS tornado warning. So two different storms, two different warnings. They just happen to overlap a little bit. But we can see here on the radar imagery that those two storms are really becoming better defined. I mean, like I said, just north of Mendenhall here, where that storm has now just passed, looking to see if there's, again, it's observed. Structure still pretty decent on this guy, but now we have this one too. So what could also happen too, Michael, you might see, I don't know, there's still some precipitation around this guy, but basically we have two supercell thunderstorms right next to each other, and both of them have rotation. The one on the west side near Mendenhall was at least observed tornado. I haven't seen any reports yet of what triggered that, but we'll find out here pretty soon. And then we have the one that is going to be just southwest of Raleigh, Mississippi, and that is in Smith County. That one could be tracking eventually into Raleigh itself. Then we have the let's see here. We have the Bionville National Forest again. That's sitting there in Smith County, so that's also included under that warning, as well as Polkville, and then parts of what appears to be Scott County. So definitely a lot of things to kind of keep an eye on here. As far as that storm down around Tyler Town is concerned, Michael, this is still a really well-defined supercell thunderstorm. That rotation is very, very good right now. It's north of Tyler Town. You can see that debris signature right here on the CCs. There's your storm relative velocity. Again, here's just the raw velocity with the storm motion. That is now a tornado emergency that is in effect. Now, this is they're considering this to be a very strong, large tornado. Again, this was literally just issued here, Michael. Tornado emergency for the rural parts of Walthall County. As the rural part of Walthall County in Mississippi. It's confirmed large and destructive tornado located over Salem, moving 18 miles west of Columbia, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So yeah, they are considering this this is a tornado emergency now that is in effect for the rural parts of Walthall County. Again, we're looking at this thing here on the radar. This is just a very, very good structured supercell. And that's what we were expecting with this thing. Potentially here, a long track tornado that we're dealing with that probably touched down somewhere around the Kentville area.
Yeah, tornado emergency there, Timmy.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, tornado emergency on that guy. And then we have no other tornado emergencies at the moment, but yeah. So I mean, like I said, Michael, I'm looking at it here on the radar, and I mean this is a very well structured storm. I will say though, they ended there. It's still looking like this thing may pass just north of Columbia. We'll have to see here. Again, still a little too early to tell. Keep in mind, tornadoes do not move in a straight line all the time. They will change a little bit. Latest reflectivity scan really showing this signature very, very well. As are let's wait for the next velocity scan here. But yeah, tornado emergency that's in effect. And right now it's just south of Sartonville on State Highway 27. We'll see if it maybe decides to take a little bit of a trip up to Sartonville. But either way, Michael, very impressive storm.
Yeah, it is. And, one person, being affected is one person being affected. Don't take this lightly, but I guess if there is a little bit of good news with this tornado emergency, it's a population in this polygon here of just over 3,000 people. So not a heavily populated area, which is a good thing. However, there are still 3,000 people in there on this tornado emergency. And I've been trying to watch the webcam from the Mendenhall area. And the way the storm's tracking, the camera is just too low in the trees, and the roof is in the way. So I wasn't able to get a good picture there as the rotation was making its way through the Mendenhall area, unfortunately. with that. But yeah, we've got a tornado here, observed tornado on the ground, at catastrophic conditions on the ground that literally could wipe out a small town. So if you're in the area there, make sure that you're taking shelter. If you know anybody in the area, make sure that they know what's going on. I was just reading a report from a storm chaser who just stopped at a gas station there in Mississippi, and as he was leaving, told the attendant to said something about good luck with the weather, and the attendant had no idea that there was even severe weather in the forecast today. So if you know people in Mississippi and Alabama area, now'd be a good time to give them a call to make sure to give them a heads up about what's to come here.
Yeah, and not only are we expecting severe weather today, but we're kind of expecting, the not just your kind of typical severe weather event. Now, there's no such thing as a typical severe weather event, but based on the atmospheric conditions that we are seeing today, is that kind of a widespread severe weather event with, especially kind of an emphasis on the tornado aspect. As these guys are really just in a really favorable environment for development. And as we're taking a look at the one, this is now way north of Tylertown here. Look at that debris signature. You can see it there on your radar, Michael. And I'll tell you what, on the reflectivity too. So by the way, what's happening here is that this debris signature, the dual pole radar, and so it's sending out beams. It sends out two beams, one of them horizontally, one of them going to be vertically. And so it's able to get a kind of a 3D scan of what it's detecting. Now, correlation, statistics thing, new tornado emergency, we'll talk about that here in just a second. But the thing that it's doing is that it's measuring the size of objects. Correlation is a statistical term, which basically a high correlation means things are very similar or there's some type of pattern there. So raindrops almost always the same size. When we have debris in the air, we have roofs of houses, leaves, cars, and raindrops. Those are all different sizes, so they're not all the same. And so thus it is a low correlation, and that's what you see there on that correlation coefficient radar there. That drop off is a good indication of debris. Michael, that tornado emergency, again, has been extended now, and that's going to include, that pretty much replaces that original tornado warning out ahead of it. And that's going to be for, let's see here, Jefferson Davis County, Lawrence County, Northwestern Marion County. They are calling this a large and extremely dangerous tornado. We see that terminology every now and then. But based on what we're seeing here on the radar imagery and what you were showing there on the CCs, as well as everything else, Michael, that is probably a very, very strong. I mean, it is a strong tornado.
Absolutely, it is.
How strong, we don't know, but who knows how it will be rated. It depends upon the damage, but from what I'm seeing here on these radar signatures, I mean, this is a very well structured supercell. This is a very well structured tornado, and it's most likely a wedge tornado. But again, without seeing any pictures of it or whatnot, and again, it might be very difficult. Again, Mississippi, very wooded. It's not like out in Oklahoma where there's a lot of plains and you can see, there's a lot of farms. Here, there's a lot of forests, and so that does kind of create a little bit of an issue. I will say that circulation, by the way, not to take away from that tornado emergency, but I do want to mention that storm up near Raleigh and Mendenhall. The Mendenhall circulation does appear to have gone down just a little bit, but not by much. There could very well still be something on the ground or very close to it. The rotation for the second supercell thunderstorm there is going to be coming up on Raleigh here in the next few minutes. So again, two active tornado warnings, two supercell thunderstorms right next to each other. The one to the west is a PDS tornado warning that includes the town of Phuket as well as other parts of southeastern Franklin County. The second warning is further to the east. And that one, thank you, Michael. Yeah, as Michael has highlighted, the second one is further to the east. It includes the city of Raleigh and Smith County, as well as the national forest that is there. Believe it or not, those two warnings do overlap near the center of the national forest. But keep in mind, those are two separate warnings for two separate areas of rotation, pretty much running parallel with each other. We'll see how that continues to track out. Again, The one that is near Phuket is observed, and it's coming right up on the town of Phuket. We'll see exactly how it tracks here, but again, State Highway 18 from Phuket all the way to Raleigh. Probably unless you're like me and you like being out in storms, probably not exactly where you want to be.
Exactly. And I know, Timmy, you don't want to go back to this. I know we've got some serious situation, but the Kentwood area again, we're getting rotation again with the supercell. This time just south of Kentwood here with some rotation here. And this storm continues to the north and east, and it's going to go the area right now where there's a tornado emergency. And so it might be a 1-2 punch here for the Kentwood area, Tylertown area, and to the northeast.
Well, that happens every now and then with these tornado outbreaks. In fact, if let's just say that one were to produce another tornado, there have been quite a few towns in history that have been impacted by 2 tornadoes during the same outbreak. I know going way back in 1965, before my time, the Palm Sunday outbreak that affected parts of northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and southeast Michigan. 2 F4s went right over pretty much the same path. Made it very difficult to rate there. I know there have been a couple of towns that have been hit twice during the same outbreak around Alabama. And again, sometimes we see that based on how these storms develop. They could track very, just not necessarily a training type of situation, but with the way things are structured, it's not unheard of. But again, we're not saying that's going to happen. But yeah, it's interesting that there is a new supercell down in that same location. But I'll tell you what, this is a large tornado that is on the ground. It does look like, I will say, based on the radar imagery that we're seeing and everything that's kind of going on, this is going to stay north of Columbia. All right. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be by much, but it does look like it's going to be north of Columbia. But Morgantown, Oakville, and those areas still, the jury's kind of still out a little bit here, and there really isn't that much time here. So again, very powerful supercell thunderstorm there. And I'll tell you what, like I said, you and I are looking at it on the radar, and this is a very well-defined structure. Typically, when you start seeing this type of debris signature, you're dealing with not just a little spin up tornado here. You're dealing with a pretty decent sized tornado. From what we've been told, it is a large. It's a large, and it's a large tornado. Now we don't know exactly how large. It could be a mile wide, could be 2 miles wide, could be half a mile wide. We don't know, but based on some of the structures that we're saying, this is not your little garden variety rope tornado.
Exactly.
This is probably a solid wedge tornado at least.
Yeah, this is near the Tylertown area. A quick video here, Timmy.
That damage? Yeah, that's the damage I'd expect. Yeah, that could be EF3 at least. Damage again without actually physically being there, but the way those trees are broke. The way so that, like I said, that could be F2, F3 damage, but again, that's just because there's nothing there. Again, a lot of the times these tornadoes are rated based on damage. So, and a lot of it is structural type of damage. So,
and speaking of that, to me, we called it here. The Kentwood tornado is back.
Yeah.
Tornado warning, and it's headed right towards the Tylertown area where we just showed that picture there. And it's going to be right near the area that's under a tornado emergency right now. So it's here. With that, let's take a look at the velocity if we can real quick. And definitely seeing some, a little rough right now, but definitely seeing some rotation here with this storm here, and continue to see rotation with the tornado emergency storm just to the north and east of it. So quite a bit going on here. I'm going to turn off this video because I keep hearing talking with that. So quite a bit going on here. So again, just south and east of Kentwood, and headed towards the Tylertown area yet again. And then we've got the tornado emergency. It's kind of in no man's land right now. I don't even see any cities around to even say. So White Bluff and Carmick, Tilton, anywhere in those areas there heading towards the north and east. We've got the twin storms right above it, right here. So the rotation is looks like it's loosened up a little bit to me. So that's a good news there on both of those storms. And then a little bit farther north, We've got a couple more tornado warnings, the Winona area, so Kill Michael area. I need to change radars here, but you're starting to see some rotation in that area. And so let me go ahead and switch radars with that. And then the Tupelo storm. It's heading just on the south side of the Tupelo area. And again, starting to see some rotation there as well with that. So we do have one tornado emergency. Luckily, it's not in a heavily populated area. And yet another tornado warning there in the Kentwood area. So quite a bit going on, Timmy. What are you seeing on your map there?
I'm just continuing to look at that, that tornado emergency one. It does appear, like I said, the radar scan's not as starkly defined as they were, but again, tornadoes they change their size and shape throughout a good portion of their life. So, we'll have to still keep an eye on that. But I do want to say that there is a tornado warning.
5 minutes ago, Timmy, and before you finish that point there, 5 minutes ago, confirmed large and destructive tornado. So confirmed large.
I believe it.
Tornado still there with that. So they're still going.
There is also you were just talking about the Kill Michael one. Okay, so on my end, it's still I will say the one near Polkville does seem to have a little bit of a drop in its intensity, but the second one, the one north of Raleigh, is still trying to hang in there. It may actually be a debris signature now with that. It's still radar indicated, but there may be a little debris signature with that one. But yeah, like you said, the one that you have popped up there is definitely the strong one. I mean, that was and again, even if it does weaken off, I mean, that was still a very large tornado. And not only that, but I mean, as we've been talking about with these, long track tornadoes, I mean, typically your long track tornadoes are your strong one here. I'm just trying to get here. Let's see, about 24 miles. So that would put it. If that storm did what we thought it did, it could have been on the ground for about 35-ish miles or so as the crow flies. Hold on a second, I want to double check something here. I'm just waiting to see. Yeah, there may have been a little tornado in there, but yeah, absolutely. That. We got a couple of damage reports here. Damage to a trailer park, likely a tornado. That's from Tylertown, just north, 7 miles west of Tylertown. That was about half hour or so ago, Michael. So we definitely, again, continuing to get reports. I'm imagining we're going to get more reports, especially from that particular tornado. It'll be interesting to see what, though, because like I said, as you mentioned, this is a sparsely populated area, very wooded. So we might not even really get the chance to see many pictures of this thing either. Mm-hmm. So even it being the daylight, but yeah, it's crossing the river here now if it hasn't already. And I'll tell you what, Michael, it's still showing up here on the velocities again. Now, like you mentioned, it is a little bit of a drop off, but I mean, still a very defined hook here, still a very defined debris ball. We can see that debris signature there on the correlations, as I was talking about earlier, how the radar is able to detect that. Still has a little bit of that clear inslot here, but we see maybe beginning to try to weaken a little bit here. But regardless, I mean, this storm, the environment that they're in, this storm, even though it might, its tornado might be kind of tapering down just a little bit, this guy is not going to be done yet. My guess is we're going to be watching this guy, for a little while here. And we'll see if it holds out into Alabama, but obviously that's still way too early to tell. There is, like I said, some other activity kind of developing ahead of that. We are still radar indicated with that second Kentwood tornado here. I just want to check here on my end. Yeah, that debris signature, Michael, I mean, it's still there. Does look like it has moved a little bit now. It's coming up on Highway 13. It might not be quite as strong as it was, but that doesn't matter. It's still a pretty decent sized Oh, here you go. There's the next velocity scan. Let's wait to see here what the debris signature is going to be. Storm relative still showing it doing pretty decent. There it is again on the reflectivity. And at least on my end here, it does appear that the debris signature has moved a bit to the north and to the east. That's going to take it right up on Highway 13 coming into the extreme southern portion of Jefferson Davis County here. Probably the next few minutes or so. And as you mentioned, right behind it, there is a second one. Also showing some decent structure there. Let me go ahead and I want to pull up the Hammond radar, but I'm going to keep this radar up. So I'm going to look at a second radar here. And you know what? Boy, that one might have another. You see something here, Michael. That one could be observed here pretty shortly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing there with that one.
Yeah, there. Let's see. This thing might be getting ready to go too. Let me see what this thing looks like on the reflectivity here. Yeah, that thing might actually be producing a tornado right now. Hard to tell.
Just over there, we're just producing a tornado.
Exactly. And actually, what's ironic that you say that, Michael. But I mean that the current signature is right by where that one tornado report just came from.
Exactly.
There, so it's literally right around this area. So almost again another of the same path. That's pretty impressive. Again, it's not unheard of in the world of meteorology, but it is also not very often that you see that. I mean, that's. How many tornadoes have you and I done, Michael, and how many of them have been pretty much right over the same path back to back? So yeah, it's all the tornadoes I've tracked. I've seen it very few.
Very few.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that one is still hanging up around. And again, this thing is going to be crossing into Jefferson Davis County here, not the one down in Kentwood. That's still down in Kentwood, but the main one that we've been following with the tornado emergency. Prentice and Bassfield here are still under that tornado emergency. It is going to be crossing into Jefferson Davis County here, right around this area. And the velocities we can see it just getting ready to is pretty much right at the tri-point there of those three counties. Let's see here, Jefferson Davis, Lawrence, and Marion County. It's pretty much right up at the tri-point here, heading to Highway 13, State Highway 13, and then naturally, we have that debris signature there. Kind of curious a little bit of what might be going on here. Could be seeing a new tornado possibly trying to develop out of this system. Again, let's not, I don't want to speculate here, but we're still seeing at least that original debris signature. And again, it's looking like we might be seeing the same thing again down just north of Kentwood. So new radar scan coming out on that. Let me go ahead here and see. Well, it looks like that signature did disappear, but we'll still keep an eye on that. Regardless, the main one is. I'll pull up my radar here. Yeah, it's still there, but I will say it does look. Oh, we got a storm spotter report here. Large tornado about 4 miles northwest, partially wrapped in rain. So again, the storm spotter report from about right here. That tornado was still on the ground. Well, that was as of 2 minutes ago. Regardless, it might not be quite as strong. You see that debris signature kind of going down a little bit. But again, it could be a rural area. There might not be much other than, some tree branches and leaves take up with it. So, again, but I tell you what, earlier, that thing was really looking impressive. And I think this storm might not be done. Even if this particular tornado does weaken, my guess is that this particular storm is not yet done. And like I said, we'll have to keep an eye on the Kentwood situation. Again, second tornado warning for that area. Also, let's see here. Radar indicated, and radar indicated. All of our other tornadoes at the moment are radar indicated, but let's go ahead and take a look. So we were up around the Kilmichael area, Europa in Mississippi. A little bit of a signature still with that particular storm, not quite as defined as some of the southern ones. We have our twin supercell thunderstorms located just to the east of Brandon there. The one on the right has yet to produce a tornado, at least to our knowledge, and the one on the left has really fallen apart, but that one did actually produce a tornado earlier on. There was a warning for that, but looking at it now, that storm does not look to be in the best of shape. My guess is this guy is the one that's taken over. And you can still see that area of rotation with that thunderstorm. Does not appear there is anything on the ground at the moment. And again, tornado warning that is in effect, and it does include the southeastern part of Forest, Mississippi. But it's starting to look like that eastern storm may be taking over a little bit here. But regardless, those two tornado warnings still in effect, and naturally we have our, kind of our main, our main storm here, tracking now into southern Jefferson Davis County. Michael, anything new? Any pictures?
Yeah, I was getting ready to pull up a picture here, and let me share what we've got going on here. So this is the first Tylertown tornado damage. You can see here off the road, some considerable damage to the vehicle there, and the trees blowing down. And I don't know if there were any leaves on the trees in the first place at this time of the year at that area, but if there were, they're gone. And so that's a FedEx truck. I didn't even notice that.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Little box truck there.
There we go. And then let me show you. There's a, I think I'm going to lose it here. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Arkansas. This was from Arkansas. So yesterday's storms there, a little bit blurry.
Yeah, that is some significant. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. And so that's probably what we're looking at right now with this tornado emergency. To me, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but not a heavily populated area, but it looks like probably a pretty good sized tornado has been on the ground for quite a while, and this might be what it looks like there in the tornado emergency area. A lot of farmland, a lot of land there, but where there are trees or where there are a few homes, they could be destroyed right now, unfortunately.
Do we know that tornado, that Diaz, Arkansas one? I mean, that's some pretty intense damage. That is, that is. I mean, you could see even a little bit of ground scarring, not scouring. Picture's not that clear, but I mean, but those power poles are still standing. That's kind of interesting. But that looks like that was a particularly strong tornado, which again, that's what we're expecting today across parts of the Deep South. So. Diaz, Arkansas. I'll have to look into that. Diaz, Arkansas. That was probably from earlier this morning, right?
Yes. That was a different one there with that. And so we're looking at 5 tornado warnings right now, including the tornado emergency. So quite a bit going on here with that. So let's start from the bottom, and then we can work ourselves up. Let's take a look at the velocity here. Still some rotation to the south and west of Tylertown, heading your direction there. So if you're in Tylertown or along 27 around the Tylertown area, need to be taking shelter immediately. We've got a tornado warning here and 1-inch size hail with the storm here. We've got the tornado emergency that we've been following, and we still have a very, very well-defined velocity reading here telling us that there's probably some good rotation, probably a tornado still on the ground with the storm here. And so just to the south of Prentice, west of Bassfield areas. And so we've got 28 more minutes of this. $50 size hail, observed tornado. Let's see if we got any kind of an update here with this. So about 8 minutes ago, confirmed large destructive tornado is located near Oak Vale, or 12 miles northwest of Columbia, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. All right, so particularly dangerous situation here with this storm. Let's work our way further to the north here, and let's see if we can get a scan here. Oops, close the radar. All right, still some broad rotation in this area, so south and west of Newton. So if you're anywhere between Raleigh and Newton, need to be taking shelter right now. You've got a tornado warning in your area with this. It looks like we just got an update here. Let's see what it has to say. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Roberts, or 11 miles southwest of Newton, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. And so if you're in this area here, the Newton area, you need to be taking shelter. And then just outside the warning, Decatur, Hickory, Chunky, if you're in that area there, you're not under a tornado warning, at least not yet. you got a storm capable of producing a tornado heading your direction right now. With that, and moving further north, we have, let's update the radar here. We've got a tornado warning here in the east of Duck Hill area. So some broad rotation here in this area. Let's click on this here. Got 11 minutes left of this, and just a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. So it's radar indicated here. So if you're in the Watt Hall area, and it's already went through the Kilmichael area, moving to the northeast. Take shelter now if you're in that area. All right, with that. And so zooming back out here. So we've got several storms, several supercells developing here. We've got the tornado watch up into Tennessee right now for the next 7 hours with this. And so the PBS tornado watch to the south of it there in the Alabama area as well. And that goes on for nearly another 7 hours as well there. So looks like we're at 4 tornado warnings, including the tornado emergency, here with this here. And let me scroll here.
While you're doing that, Michael, here, give me a quick second. I'm going to, I gotta look here. Hold on a second. Lost the tab. There we are. So share the screen here. Again, I know we've been focusing a lot on Mississippi. Some of the storms are now starting to move in. A couple of them are now starting to move into Alabama. Here's a live look from the Alabama Department of Transportation there. You can see that sky, not quite as cloud covered there. It's a bit quieter here. Oops, looks like we lost that camera. Let's see.
Watching?
Yep, there we go. Brand new tornado warnings. This is down in Birmingham, I-20. Down in Birmingham, again, quiet weather there right now, but they are also under that PDS tornado watch that you were just talking about. We have a brand new tornado warning, actually, that is in effect, or not in effect, but it's outside the Tupelo, Mississippi area, right on the Alabama border here. So again, things are getting active in Alabama as we go through the remainder of the afternoon, but I want to share that with you here. Pulling up the Tupelo radar, we can see
and Timmy, I'm going to take over for a second here. We're losing your connection again, unfortunately. So I can barely hear you about every 10 words or so. With that, so yeah, let's look here. And with the reflectivity, so the Armory area to the Smithville area to the Tremont area, if you're in that area under a tornado warning here, again starting to see the hook echo here with this storm, and as it's rotating here, and let me click on it here as your computer resets itself there, Timmy, and we'll see here. So. A couple minutes ago, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near New Wren or near Amory, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So these storms have been moving fairly quickly. So if you are under any of these storms here, you don't have to wait for long for these storms to blow through. They are literally blowing through with that. So we got winds of 60 miles per hour, quarter size hail with these storms here. With what we got. So we've got that newest tornado warning there. Let's not forget about the tornado emergency here as it's getting closer to the Carson area. With that, it looks like one big blob right now on the radar. With that, and I just noticed that my radar screen's not even showing, and I've been talking with that there. So we've got the big blob here is what I was talking about, right, Timmy? With that, and so let's take a look at the velocity. Whoa, let's switch the all right, so yeah, the velocity is still showing that we've got quite a bit of rotation in this area, lots of lightning in this area, just moving to the northeast here, so getting that Carson area, all right, the Bassfield area, the Prentice area. Hopefully this tornado lifts before it gets to those points there, but definitely still having rotation here with the storm and let's check here. Is it this storm just got updated? What this one? One of the storms here just got updated. Here we go. With that's here. Severe thunderstorm cable producing a tornado near Tylertown. So we've been saying that for quite a while now. With that, so we got some broad rotation here, at least with this scan of what's going on there. And so where's Tylertown? Okay. So hopefully it goes just to the north of Tylertown here, stays away from the populated area. With that, I'm going to check here and see if we've got any video or pictures coming in or any updates from these storms here with this. And with that. And still breaking up there, Timmy. I can't hear you here on that. And so, yeah, so the Bassfield area, the tornado is still on the ground. Tornado is still on the ground in the Bassfield area. So with the tornado here, so they got rid of the tornado emergency and have replaced it here with a tornado warning. So it's still a PDS tornado warning here, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located over Carson, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So it's now over the Carson area with that. And so let's see here. So still definitely seeing the signature there with that. And let's check here on the correlation coefficient with that as well. So tornado still on the ground, all right, in the Carson area. Tornado still on the ground in the Carson area. So that's what we're taking a look at there with this storm. And
can you hear me now?
Hey, there you are.
Yay! All welcome right, back. So yeah, welcome back. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so hey, just taking a look at that storm as you were mentioning, the one that is down around the one that we were talking about that had the tornado emergency, still a PDS tornado warning on it, but there's that debris signature yet again right near the Bassfield area. It's looking like this storm is probably going to stay to the south of Prentice, but Prentice being right here. Again, obviously some heavy rain and maybe leaving a little bit of hail, but this is the section right here of that storm that we are watching. And again, that debris signature is back again. I wouldn't be surprised if this maybe, if this debris signature holds on, if this maybe doesn't get bumped back up. That being said, the second storm is still in effect there. And we also have this doing area.
I think we lost you again there, Timmy.
There, Mike? All right.
Oh, I heard all right.
Oh, okay. Well, if you could still hear me. Yes. All right, yeah, this circulation near Newton, the circulation near Newton is really beginning to kind of get a little bit more organized here, so we'll see what that's going to do. And again, that's going to be coming up on Interstate 20. That's, as mentioned, the Newton area, so we'll keep an eye on that particular storm. Hey, we got an observed tornado, by the way, southeast of Tupelo, coming up on Smithville, and right near Amory. So that's the one that, Amory. That's the one that you were talking about. That is an observed tornado. Let's try to pull it up here on the velocities. We can take a little bit of a look at it here, but yeah, they are calling this one observed. This is a storm confirmed tornado was located near Armory. So looking like it's going to be this guy right there. It looks like a debris signature. It's weather spotters confirmed it. And yeah, so we now have at least probably 2 observed tornadoes on the ground at the moment. one of them being southeast of Tupelo, right near Smithville, and Maury, which, again, in the super outbreak back in 2011, both those towns got a pretty decent hit there. So.
So it looks like we lost you, Timmy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so good. You can hear me now.
I can hear you.
I'm assuming you were talking the entire time.
Actually, no. I had to stand up for a second.
Oh.
So yeah, well, no, you're good. You're good.
Well, I was saying that. See if I can pull it up here. But let's see here. That tornado, by the way. So there is one that is again. We got. It looks like we might have a couple here now going on. Let me pull up the radar here really quickly. So we have again an observed tornado up near the Armory area and Smithville area. That storm is tracking to the northeast. We also have what may be here a tornado getting ready to be produced here, if maybe not already, and that's coming right up on Newton and Decatur. Could be passing just northwest here of the Meridian area. Again, we can see it here on the radar signatures, a little bit of velocity there. Nothing yet on the debris signature, but then we still have this guy way down here, and I'll tell you what, we just got a report I saw coming through the spotter network that this was a large wedge tornado that is on the ground. Debris signature has appeared to gone down a little bit, but still holding up on the velocity radar imagery. So we'll keep an eye on this thing. Tornado warning has been extended, that PDS tornado warning, and that has been for Smith County, Covington, and Jones County. Still an extremely large tornado that is on the ground, 7 miles east of Prentice, moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So I've been looking at it here on the radar on my end. And again, just kind of still a very well-structured type of storm. The Tylertown one, I don't know if you just mentioned that one or not, but that dude is also now producing another tornado. So we have 2 tornadoes on the ground, and that second one is the one coming right up behind it, the one that touched down in Tylertown. Again, we can see that debris signature right there. So very close, if not, very similar to the track that was just done by the tornado we were mentioning up near the Bassfield area. So again, Tylertown going to probably be affected here, or again, just kind of missed out on both of those tornadoes, at least the center of Tylertown. But again, observed tornado north of Tylertown again. That warning has also been extended. Looks like it's going to stay just west of Columbia, just northwest of Columbia, eventually the way it's going to track. But again, it is immediately behind this second tornado, which you see right there on the debris. So here's tornado number one. I guess actually technically this would have been tornado number one. It developed near Kentwood and passed just north of Tylertown. And now here is the new one. And this one, Michael, is also looking like it could very well be another strong tornado.
It really does. It really does there, Timmy, with that here. And so I'm trying to pull up to see if we can get any cameras here and see where the storm chasers are. I haven't seen really much coming through Twitter or any social media feeds towards us there. So if anybody's gotten anything, don't hesitate to see us there. Oh, hey, speaking of that, Coach Nick Roberts, EDS. Let me share my screen here. So this is the here in a second, the Tylertown tornado. I assume it's the most recent one. Let me share it on the screen here. There we go, Timmy.
Woo! That's a wedge tornado.
That is. It's a fairly big tornado there. So I don't know exactly which one this is with that, but Coach Nick Roberts on his feed here has posted this picture here. It's a Tylertown area.
Now, what time was that? Was that the first or is that the current?
That's a good question. So it says 2:28 p.m. So it's been posted about 7 minutes ago. But I couldn't tell you which tornado this is. But yeah, we've got two massive tornadoes going on right now, Timmy.
Wow. Yeah, so 2:28 p.m. That might be the second one. Now that I think about it, so that's 2:28 p.m. because you're Eastern time, so that would be 1:28 Central time, which is So that might be the current one that's on the ground now. That is impressive. Back to back, just like that.
It's unreal.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. So that's going to be interesting to see the damage path of those two tornadoes. Again, it's not unheard of to have, a situation where you have two tornadoes that take effectively the same path, but that's not very common. Let's put it for you that way. It's not unheard of, but it's not normal to have, that type of a setup here. Let me see here on my end. Trying to get my radar back up here. Having all sorts of internet joy. Oh, they did extend that tornado warning now into Alabama.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
And Tennessee now is under a tornado watch. Nashville, Shelbyville, Lawrenceburg. That is a tornado watch. I don't believe this is a PDS one, but it's still a tornado watch nonetheless. That's going to be in effect until 9 p.m. So Central Tennessee now getting in on some of the activity, or at least maybe expected to get in some of the activity.
Yeah, and as you're pulling that up there, Timmy, just a review here. This was predicted well over 24 hours in advance, high risk of severe weather. And this is the area that we're looking at right now. So these storms are getting into that pink area where that high risk is taking place here. If you don't know exactly what that means, so the scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being marginal, a 5 out of 5 is a high risk, meaning widespread severe storms are expected. Long-lived storms, very intense storms are expected, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. I'm also keeping an eye on some storm chasers here, just letting you know. I believe this one is getting fairly close to one of those storms, so I'll keep monitoring this, and I'll let you know, Timmy, if he gets closer or not, and go from there. Now, I've lost your radar. Are you able to click your radar back on the screen there?
Yeah, I'm working on getting it up here. Some odd reason. Just having all sorts of technical joys today, wouldn't you believe it, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, from what I'm seeing, at least on my end, outside of my, I have a second radar that I'm up and using here. We do have a new report north of Bassfield. This is coming in from a couple minutes ago. Tree damage, visible rotation, rain embedded thunderstorm, tornado. north of Bassfield. We'll see if that particular storm, the rotation on that might be going down, but we're still looking at some pretty decent rotation from that second Tylersville storm here. Let's see if we got anything on the damage with it. Yeah, that thing is still on the ground. And even our second one here, let's pull it up. Yeah, we seem to have kind of lost a little bit of the signature of that second one, but I will say that.
I don't see a radar there, Timmy.
I'm sorry?
I don't see a radar on the screen here.
Yeah, and it's still trying to load a little bit.
Okay.
We may also, just as a side note, there is a second storm down right near Hammond, Louisiana, which may also be trying to get itself organized here. So again, Hammond being a little bit further to the south, that means that it probably wouldn't be tracking up to Tylerville, at least with the way that things look. But again, we could have maybe another tornado warning here coming up here in just a few moments. In the meantime, like I said, I'm trying to get my stuff recalculated here. Like I said, fortunately, internet not the best on my end, though I know it is for you. Let me.
Are you struggling with radar Omega? I can't. My radar is not pulling up.
Yours isn't either?
No.
It's all right. I have my backup radar is working, but I don't have a way to put it up on the screen here. But so we at least still have some radar coverage. So
I'll show you here what I'm looking at here, Timmy, if you want to take a look at the screen here. But my radar Omega, but there's no there are no radars to choose from, and there's no drop down over here to choose from. So I'm not sure.
That's all right. I'm having that's the exact same problem I'm having.
Okay.
But like I said, my secondary radar is still up and running, so I'm still able to see images and stuff. And so what we're tracking right now, again, tornado on the ground north of Tylertown. Again, this is the second one that is on the ground, second tornado. So the first one was about probably an hour ago. We were watching a storm develop near Kentwood, Louisiana, or at least tornado developed near Kentwood, Louisiana, tracked its way north of Tylertown, and then made its way into kind of some rural areas, and has now made its way past Bassfield, Mississippi. So again, we're in the southern part of the state here with that. Let me take a look here at something. So it made its way towards Bassfield down in Jefferson Davis County, and now that storm is heading into Covington County, but it might not be on the ground anymore, that particular tornado, just based on some of the recent radar scans, but it's still a PDS tornado warning. Then we have a second storm that developed pretty much right over the Kentville area. Again, literally, we're talking probably within a mile or two of where that first tornado had developed. And that one is on the ground, tracked again north of Tylertown by about the same distance. And that one still is showing a debris signature. It does appear that one will also be passing way to the northwest of Columbia, Mississippi, but could be making its way into southern Jefferson Davis County again. So it looks like, it could be the situation where you have two tornado paths right next to each other. We have a third storm now really getting itself organized down around Hammond, Louisiana. And that storm has started to get a bit better organized. We have the benefit in this sense that it's right up on the radar site. So because it's right up on the radar site, we got some really good scans from that guy at this time. But again, we got no warning on that yet. But my guess is that's probably going to change, especially if this rotation gets better organized, or at least down at the surface here, because that storm is also looking pretty impressive just north of Hammond. Tornado warning also in effect. This is going to be for let's see here, the Newton, Mississippi area. So that's Kemper County, Neshoba County, Lauderdale County, all of that in central Mississippi. There is a radar indicated rotation with this, nothing observed yet. But we were looking at this particular thunderstorm here, signature kind of there, not quite as defined though as it was a little bit ago. We have two tornado warnings up further to the north, one near Okolana. We are watching potentially two areas of rotation. Let me pull up the Columbus, Mississippi radar there.
We're back, Timmy. We should be back.
Yay! Good. All right. Well, keep yours up. Mine hasn't loaded yet, but that's good. Hey, we got a brand new tornado warning now, just north of Hammond, on that storm I was just talking about a few moments ago. But really quickly, before we go back to that storm, like I said, tornado warning in effect around the Okolana area. That's going to include Chickasaw County, Pontotoc County, and Lee County, as well as Monroe County. Again, nothing observed right now at the moment with that. We also now have storms moving into Alabama, Hodges and Vina, Alabama, as well as Russellville. We'll keep an eye on that activity. I believe that is still, let me double check here before I say anything, but let's take a look here. That's going to be, let's see here, Franklin County, that's Alabama. This is radar indicated too, but I will say that new one down just around the Hammond area looks pretty good here on the radar imagery. Yeah, Michael, let's see here.
Yeah, absolutely it does, Timmy. As you look to get that going there, we're starting to see a little bit of a, I didn't click on the, okay, there we go. It's working now. So we're starting to see a little bit of rotation there, and it's got to be north and east here. This radar has been very slow all day. With that, let me see if we can get a, yeah, it's just under that radar there. To me, it's hard to get a read exactly what's going on as you're talking about with that. But if we go a little bit further north, we're starting to see, again, a lot of lightning, a lot of rotation on some of the storms here to the north. With that, it looks like we're still updating some things there, Timmy. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's updated on my end too. I do have it back up though, but like I said, it's a little slow. I don't know what in the world that was about.
We've got 8 tornado warnings right now, Timmy. 8 tornado warnings, and as we were comparing earlier, no blizzard warnings anymore. No blizzard warnings with that, but 22 winter storm warnings with that, and so quite a bit with the 8 warnings here. A couple of them are PDS tornado warnings. PDS tornado warnings with a couple of them here. So the
tornado warning.
Smith, Jones, and Marion, Lawrence, and Jefferson Davis. And where's our new tornado warning at here, Timmy?
Our new tornado warning. Take a guess.
No way.
Yeah. Well, actually, just slightly to the west, and it looks like it might pass north of Kentwood. But yeah, it is just north of Greensburg, Louisiana, right up on the Mississippi state line. This tornado warning does actually include the city of Macomb, and so that's Pike County. But it will be passing close to Kentwood. But right now, this is just a radar indicated one. You can see a little bit there of that hook feature kind of popping up here and there. I think my radar might have it here better. And we'll still I'm gonna put up my radar.
You're good. You're good. With that, yeah, definitely seeing some hooks there with the with both of these storms here.
Yeah, so here's our our first one. This is right around Hammond, and then here's the new one. Again, there's Kentwood right there. Boy, they have been pretty active this afternoon. But again, both of these are radar indicated, and we're going to see here how these guys develop. We still have the PDS tornado warning that is up now near Collins. We were tracking this guy earlier on. It did have a confirmed tornado with it. In fact, it was the first one that made it. It developed right near Kentwood, and then passed its way through north of Tylertown and northwest of Columbia. Now it's making its way through the Collins area. Again, still PDS tornado warning. We're still seeing that rotation there, but at the moment, I don't see any debris signature. Doesn't mean that it's not on the ground necessarily, but it might not be quite as strong. But given the storm, we'll just kind of assume that it's still on the ground, at least for the moment being. We have then the second storm that developed near Kentwood and tracked north, and this one is still on the ground. This is a PDS tornado warning as well. It is observed tornado passing through pretty much, Michael, the exact same area it did about an hour ago. This one is probably, if it continues on this track, going to enter into southern Jefferson Davis County, and then eventually maybe towards the town of Bassfield. I'm looking on my end to see if I've had any new reports coming out my way. It does appear that the first tornado has since lifted, but there is still rotation. There is still a wall cloud. But the one that we're looking at right now here, the second Kentwood tornado effectively, still showing up there on the radar signature, still got a good velocity scan on it. PDS tornado warning that remains in effect. And right now it's going to track it up towards Jefferson Davis County. Then we had our third of the Kentwood family, or whatever it is that you want to call it, tornado warning that is in effect radar indicated, but based on what we've been seeing, there may be, something very locally here that going on, potential little boundary here that these storms are favoring. And that one does have a little bit of a notch with it. And certainly we'll keep an eye on that storm. But again, just radar indicated, but it does include the city of Magnolia and Macomb, that is in southern Mississippi in Pike County. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what that storm does. Another tornado warning developed just north of the Hammond, Louisiana area. We were watching that one back when we were having our technical radar difficulties for whatever reason that was. And that one's still showing some kind of decent signatures here. Radar indicated, a little bit tricky since it's pretty much right up on the radar, but it's better than being too far from the radar, I guess. But regardless of that fact, still kind of showing that hook feature there. That might be another storm that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Overall, though, like I said, the ones up in Alabama, 2 tornado warnings up in Alabama near Russellville. We're still radar indicated at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that. And as you mentioned, we have that, or as I mentioned earlier, we also have a tornado watch that now includes central Tennessee, including Nashville, Murfreesboro, Lawrenceburg area of Tennessee, and Shelbyville too in Tennessee. That tornado watch is not a PDS one, but it will certainly be something that we're going to keep an eye on as we go through the afternoon, because even though the main center of activity is probably going to be Mississippi going into Alabama, there's still plenty of land around there with still somewhat favorable conditions. So I also expect that we're going to see, possibly some decent activity outside of that high risk area. Some of which could put it into, like I said, parts of Tennessee area and maybe parts of Georgia. Maybe Georgia probably later on this afternoon, by the time that starts maybe working its way there. But overall, Michael, like I said, very, very active setup. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically 8 tornado warnings, but 3 of them are on the same storm because it's a boundary between 3 different offices, but our forecast offices. So that's why there's 3 separate warnings on this same one here. But technically, we really have 6 tornado warnings, but numerically it's 8, but you get the idea. While we're mentioning it here, like I said, I am going to pull up Tennessee radar here. Again, tornado watch is in effect there. We're looking here at the Nashville radar. This is probably going to be more of a linear type of setup, not necessarily, at least for right now. So, not, a little bit different than the setup that we're seeing down south, but we do have tornadoes, at least right now, the way things look is they'll probably be QLCS type of situation there, but nonetheless, tornado watch in effect there. No tornado warnings, a couple of flash flood warnings, but no severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in Tennessee at this time. That will probably change, though, later in a little bit, but for right now, just kind of a line of storms, and we'll keep an eye here on the Nashville area. As those storms get a little bit closer, let's take a look here to see if we can't maybe just take a quick velocity look here, see what's going on there. And again, right now it does not appear there's anything immediately tornadic, but we're definitely going to keep an eye on that as that makes its way through the Nashville metro. Meanwhile, let's see here. Have we got anything?
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here for a second.
Absolutely.
Find it. I got too many windows open here. Share. This is Brad Arnold. Brad Arnold, storm chaser in the Taylorsville area. You were just talking about that a few minutes ago. So Taylorsville area. under the tornado warning here. So it's got to be close. He sees debris flying.
Taylorsville?
Yes. Yeah, if you want to pull that up on the radar, you can switch.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. So he's right up here, I think. Give me a second here. There it is right there. So he's actually on that first Kentwood. He's on the first Kentwood storm. So right now, if we take a look at it there on the radar imagery, doesn't appear that we have something on the ground at the moment, but that storm has a history of cycling, and my guess is that and he's looking right at it. So that's actually a really good stream, to know. And I'll tell you what, based on the way things are going, he might not have to move much because the second one is going to be probably taking that same path. And I do know.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, and he's going to joke with you that it's a storm chaser's dream. You just, hang out in one spot and you can get 2, 3, maybe 4 tornadoes today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that would have been, yeah, that actually is. And you remember how last year, you're up and down, going back and forth, and that's typically how it goes in the world. But yeah, that dude, he doesn't gotta do much. He just gotta sit and wait.
Exactly. So, and it's a lot safer because those storm chasers, it's crazy out there.
Yeah, you remember when we were down you remember when I was showing you that video in Oklahoma? It was just a line of cars.
Right. Yep.
Drives me nuts because I'm a meteorologist, and that's what I kind of need to be somewhere where there's not a line of cars. But what are you gonna do about it?
Right.
But I will say it does look like we've kind of lost a little bit of that debris signature on that second one. So what we're looking at here is the second Kentwood storm, the second one that popped up around the Kentwood area. But now it's north of Columbia, Mississippi, heading up towards Bassfield. The one that Michael was showing you the video of is for this storm. The guys in Taylorsville. This was the first one. Right now, it appears that there isn't anything on the ground at the moment. They're still tagging it observed. It's confirmed tornado was located near Collins, but that was back here. So it might not be on the ground at the moment, but the storm still has a very good structure. My guess is that it could probably try to recycle here again. It may very well put something on the ground. Then we have, again, the second one, not as much of a debris signature as what we had earlier. And then we have the two that are down around the state line. One of them north of Hammond, one of them coming into the Macomb area. Again, both of those still radar indicated. And then we have our observed tornado warning south of Philadelphia, passing by Meridian. Right now it's still observed, but again, not seeing strong signatures at the moment, so it might be trying to cycle its way through again. But yeah, Taylorsville and that second one, again, that's going to be Bassfield again. I don't know if they got any damage from the first one, but dang near close. Let's see here. Yeah. So they had one tornado, and now they're going to have possibly, we'll see here if this thing decides it wants to cycle up again.
So what are we looking at there, Timmy?
Well, still looking at the same setup. Still kind of looking at the same setup again, just kind of those two main storms, and then there is the second one. I'm going to try to see
the storm in the Bassfield area.
Yeah.
Yeah, zoom in on that if you would. I'm getting reports here that the tornado's back on the ground.
The recent signature of it is, it's right there. Let's see here on my end. It's back on the ground in the Bassfield area.
It's heading towards Bassfield.
Now, if it's back on the ground, I believe it, given the storm here. So we're looking at it right here. This would have been the debris signature. That was from a couple minutes ago. And nope, I think I see this. Nope, that's a different one. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, it's still got the structure there and everything. I mean, even if it's not on the ground, it's at that point where if it's not on the ground, it could very easily be on the ground pretty shortly. Like I said, a very like I said, active kind of setup here. I'm looking to see if we can't maybe take a look here. I'm just checking something here really quickly.
Yeah, as you're doing that, yeah, take a look at that. I'm going to show you here, if you recall from the very beginning of our live stream here about 2 hours ago, the Kentwood tornado. If that rings a bell, Timmy.
Oh yeah.
This is what it looked like at the time. This is from Fox 8 New Orleans along Highway 38 near Kentwood. You can see barely in the background there.
Yeah. At the first or the second?
Good question. Doesn't say.
We got a, let's see here. Give me a quick moment here. We got to look here at Birmingham. Another look at Birmingham. Some cloud cover starting to move in there as this activity continues to track its way. Let me go ahead and see if we can't pop that up. Give me just a quick second here. This is our look down at Birmingham. Oh, there it is right there. So cloud cover starting to move in there a little bit. Again, they are also under that PDS tornado watch. Let's see here if we can't maybe just grab one that isn't having problems. Not as much cloud cover as we take a look here at this view, but again, we're starting to see some of those clouds moving their way through. Obviously dry there right now, but as we've been talking about, we are expecting that this activity is going to track its way to the east here, and it's probably going to be getting around. It's going to be moving into Alabama here during peak heating time, and so again, a little bit quiet for them at the moment. But based on what we've been seeing here in Mississippi, I tell you what, it could be getting pretty active over there here in maybe the next couple of hours or so. But yeah, a little bit of a lull, but there must be things getting ready again. There we go. Your ad here.
So this is Evan Freiberger feed. A storm chaser just deployed the drone. I'm not sure exactly where they're at. I'm not sure what even we're looking at right this second.
Oh, I see where he is. He is down near, he's in that Taylorsville storm.
Okay.
Based on that radar image at the bottom there, he's on the Taylorsville storm. That warning has the same shape. Yeah, those drones, I tell you.
Those are nice.
Really? Does he have some weather equipment on that thing? Put some weather equipment on that thing. Give us a little sounding.
Yeah, there we go. With that, so let me go back to your radar here to me, and we'll keep an eye on these. Definitely keep an eye on these and see if there's anything interesting. I will let you know. That's for sure.
It is on the ground, by the way.
The drone is?
No, that tornado coming right up on Taylorsville, actually. So yeah, there is a debris signature for it, right? See if I can't pull it up here, but there is a debris signature on this guy. From what I see with the Jackson radar, looks like it's about a minute behind. There it is. There's that mesocyclone here. This radar image is a couple minutes old here, but it's right up on Taylorsville now. This hook is coming right up on them, and as is that debris signature there. So that video might have a actual that video may have a view of it here, depending upon exactly if it's rain wrapped or not here. It might actually be hard see a little bit. But yeah, that thing is on the ground. That's coming right up on Taylorsville. All right, so that one is observed. The one coming up on Taylorsville is observed. There it is. And then we have a brand new tornado warning. That's going to take over. That's going to include Bassfield and Seminary, as well as Jones County, Jefferson Davis County. That tornado warning is going to go for another basically an hour. As we track that storm.
Are you on the Taylorsville tornado?
So yes, that the Taylorsville one is down over is up here.
Yeah, if you can the storm chaser I'm listening to right now, I don't know where he's getting the information, but he said a tornado emergency is going to be issued soon.
Well, if it does decide it wants to track too, I would imagine, given what we're seeing here on the radar. So this is Taylorsville right here. So again, this would have been the first Kentwood tornado.
So it looks like I just upgraded to a PDS. Yeah, that was it. Just a confirmed PDS. So not a tornado.
So, yeah, so this is the first Kentwood tornado. Again, it's back. There it is coming up on Taylorsville. The second one is the one coming up on Bassfield. That's also an observed tornado warning, but it's not a PDS tornado warning, at least for the moment being. And then we have our other one still radar indicated, but that includes Macomb and Magnolia. But again, as mentioned, that one's just radar indicated. But yeah, here's the Taylorsville one. And that thing is probably going to be coming right up on or just passing barely to the southeast of Taylorsville. So there should be some views on it here. Do we have any of those videos, Michael? You know, is anybody down around the Taylorsville area actually seeing it? Or did they all move back to Bassfield?
Around there, yes, but I have not seen anything in their feed yet. They're parked looking at the sky.
All right. Well, it might be a little rain. It's raining in Taylorsville probably at the moment, so it might be a little rain wrapped. But yeah, there's the debris signature of it. You can see it right down here. And oh man, I'll tell you what. Let's see, Michael, if I can't just pull it up here on the correlation coefficients. But it is looking really good. There, look at that. So this is the CC. There's your tornado right there. And I'll tell you what. I think the next radar scan will look even a bit more impressive. And this thing could be coming right up here on Taylorsville, or at least passing just barely outside of it. But I'll tell you what, like I said, that's going to be another close one here. Let me just double check on my end here. Man, that is right up on Taylorsville. That could be a direct hit, if not a close to direct hit on Taylorsville, especially on the east side of that town there. It looks, like I said, very impressive on the correlations. And so this is all debris that this thing is picking up right here. So very good looking, again, this is another strong, probably long track tornado that's in the development now from this particular storm. So here's Taylorsville, and I'm guessing it's right over Taylorsville at this time. This radar image is for some reason a few minutes behind, but latest scan I've just seen puts it right over Taylorsville, just especially on the east side. And so we pass, and there it is right there. Take a look at that, Michael. So this is from about a minute ago. You can see that debris signature. Like I said, that's going to be passing pretty much right over the eastern half there of Taylorsville. Very well defined tornado there. Again, could be a particularly large one. My guess is that it is a large tornado that is on the ground. Still observed for the Bassfield area. I don't see any debris signatures yet for Bassfield. Regardless, though, again, this is the first Kentwood tornado, and as you see, it is really just kind of continuing to cycle up here and there, and it looks like Taylorsville probably, Michael, took a direct hit. So my guess is I mean, from the radar scan that I'm seeing, Michael, is that it went right over Taylorsville. And yeah, it went right over the city of Taylorsville. So we'll probably get some damage there. And that Michael, that looks like that was probably a large tornado.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that one. And I'm still
Uh,
watching the feeds. I got 2 feeds now of storm chasers in the Taylorsville area. But right now I'm just seeing cloudy skies and heavy rain.
Well, I'll tell you, Michael, that tornado is probably rain wrapped, which is why everyone might be staying a bit back away from it. But the next radar scan you'll see here when it loads on this particular image is impressive. And like I said, my guess here is that Taylorsville took a direct hit. So we'll probably be getting some photos from that here very shortly. And again, that was a direct hit by potentially a really strong tornado. They're going to extend that tornado warning, by the way, Michael. And it looks like they're going to extend that into Bay Springs, north of Heidelberg, and Montrose here. Give me a quick second as I calibrate on my end. Just a quick second here, Michael. So there it is. Look at that. I mean, that was a direct hit, and that is a debris signature if you've ever seen one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as I'm looking at it here, so that would have been Taylorsville. There it is. So they've extended that warning in the Jasper County. That's going to include Bay Springs here. And depending upon how this thing tracks, it could be bringing it pretty close. There's also the city of Stringer. I'm not 100% certain, just based on the fact that it made a quick north turn like that. But yeah, that is definitely again, very, very strong tornadic signature there for the Taylorsville one. I mean, like I said, that looks to be, to me, a direct hit on that town. And give me a quick second here. Let's save these radar images before I forget. And like I said, it's a pretty good looking tornado here on the velocity. Let's see if I can get a more recent velocity image here. This is from a few moments ago. You can see again that structure here. We'll see if this loads a new image on this particular run here. I know the velocity for some reason has been running behind lately. So I'm not really quite sure why that is. Yeah, why don't we keep that up for a moment here? Because I want to see, do we know where this video is? Is he ahead?
In the Taylorsville area? This is Bryce Shelton. He said the tornado is likely a mile ahead of him.
Okay. So the Shelton area?
Taylorsville area.
Oh, Taylorsville area. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that puts it right up on what we saw with that debris signature. And like I said, I'm really thinking here that Taylorsville probably took a pretty big hit here. So it'll be interesting to see what that damage looks like. But it could be probably some intense damage, just based on those signatures. I mean, and even looking at it here on the reflectivity, that signature is still there. Not only is it still there, Michael, but it is, let's see here. The debris signature, yeah, it's still there. The velocities are still pretty high on that here too. So he's probably that chaser's probably avoiding Taylorsville at the moment, and probably because you might not be able to get around it. Going back to the Bassfield, that is still an observed tornado, but again, I'm not seeing a debris signature at the moment from that one, and our other tornado warning is still just radar indicated, as is the one north of Hammond. So again, our big one right now is that Taylorsville storm. And like I said, that might have taken a direct hit here. So I'll tell you what, Bay Springs here coming up. If this guy continues to hold out, that's going to be coming right up on Bay Spring or Sylvarnia. So both of those being right up ahead of it here on Highway 15, or excuse me, Sylvarnia, which is, I want to make sure I get the county right. Sylvarnia, that is still in Smith County. It's the northeastern part of Smith County, or it could be going into the west central part of Jasper County. That's the city of Bay Springs here. Debris signature on my end, Michael, is still there. It obviously is not quite as large as it was, but again, this is a rural area. except for the city of Taylorsville itself, which again helped to really amplify that debris signature. But to my knowledge, right there, so we're looking still at the correlation coefficient. This image is about 5 minutes old, so tornado is going to be right up around this area, but that's going to be putting it here at Bay Springs and or Sylvarnia here in a few moments. This storm is moving east-northeast at about 45 miles an hour. So here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to time track this thing, but based on what we saw, it kind of took a little bit more of a turn here, and I want to make sure I get both of those towns as included as I can. And that's going to put it in. They got about 15 minutes for Bay Springs and Sylvarnia. So we are taking a look here. This is a confirmed tornado. It's a PDS tornado warning. It does look like it took a direct hit on Taylorsville. So we'll probably be seeing some damage from that. I mean, Taylorsville, not a big town, but it looks like it took a direct hit from what could very well be an intense tornado. Now, again, we don't know how strong this tornado is. We don't know. Until the damage surveys can be completed. Obviously, that's going to take a few days. But from what we're seeing here, this is not your little spin-up tornado type of situation. Again, this is a long track, strong tornado, wedge tornado. This is probably the second or third tornado that this storm has produced. Again, it started in Kentwood, produced a wedge tornado up through at least Bassfield, might have weakened a bit, and is now recycled itself again. And so this is a supercell, a strong supercell thunderstorm that has a history of producing what might be very well be strong, violent tornadoes. Now, that being
I got a picture here of the Taylorsville, Mississippi tornado here.
I see it right behind the trees there. Yeah, that looks like a strong tornado. Yeah. That's not a little spin up. That looks like a wedge tornado. And I'll tell you, Michael, it's still showing up here on the CCs. I'll turn off the track. We're going to retrack it here. This guy is moving. It's looking like it's edging a bit closer to Bay Springs now. And the debris signature is still there, and it's going to be coming right up on Bay Springs here. Whoops, let me actually get Bay Springs in this time track, I guess. Let's see here. At about 10 minutes or so. So about 10 minutes till either Sylvarnia or Bay Springs, but it's looking like it's edging a little bit closer towards the Bay Springs area. That being said, my guess too is what we're going to see here, Michael, is this tornado warning is probably going to be hatched off a little bit because it does not look like it's going to be affecting the far southwestern corner of Jasper County. So that includes the city of Stringer, or the town of Stringer, is going to be outside probably of that path of that tornado. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this thing hatched up a little bit to account for that. But yeah, that is a pretty potent looking thing. And Michael, it's still very impressive on the velocity radar imagery.
That indeed. Yeah. Yes, that indeed. Again, I'm watching all of my feeds here, Storm Chasers. I'm not seeing anybody up on the storm here, unfortunately. But yeah, still trying to. Man, Taylorsville just got drilled.
Yeah. Do we have any damage photos yet? I mean, yeah. No, that town took a direct hit. From, like I said, what was probably not an F0 or an F1. Again, was probably at least a significant tornado. Yeah. Not to alarm people, but that's the environment that we're in today. Is these long track type of tornadoes, and these long track tornadoes tend to be pretty strong. And yeah, so that was Taylorsville. And so let's see here, Michael. We've been talking about this storm now since Kentwood. So that's been this guy has been going for at least 24, 50, 75 miles now. It probably two tornadoes. I'm thinking it was probably two tornadoes. This one not being the same one as the first one that passed near the Bassfield area. Based on what we were seeing on the radar. Again, we're not going to speculate that because we got to do the damage assessments, but those are going to take probably a little while. And based on the number of tornadoes that we're seeing, it could be a few days before we actually know just how strong this tornado actually was. Regardless of that fact, the This thing still looks like it's on the ground, albeit the debris signature not quite as much, but it is coming up on Bay Springs, which again is going to have a little bit more population. So we're going to see if this tornado is either kind of weakened a little bit or if it just doesn't have as much stuff to pick up here. But again, it's going to be coming up on Bay Springs here about 5 to 10 minutes or so. All right, is that guy looking at
Bay Springs?
Bay Springs. All right, so yeah, we're going to find out here very quickly. That's actually a great shot. I think that will tell us probably a bit more here than the radar is going to over the next few moments. But if it's rain wrapped, maybe not. Let's see here. Yeah, it might still be there. Let's, but I will say the velocity has not tightened up quite as much. However, it does appear that second one, now North Bassfield, might be trying to respin here. So definitely keeping an eye on both of those here. But again, that's some good video as they're looking right into it. Meanwhile, our other two tornado warnings do not appear to be, they're both radar indicated still. Michael, we also have, while we're on the topic, while we're keeping an eye on that video, I do want to talk about a couple of other storms that are ongoing right up on the Alabama-Mississippi state line. There is a tornado warning that is in effect, and that tornado warning is in effect for Kemper County. That goes until for another 40 minutes or so. This is radar confirmed. Nothing on the ground with this. We'll definitely keep an eye on this storm again. These storms going into Alabama here could be getting very interesting here in a little bit. We also have what appears to be a possible extension of that tornado watch. I'm not 100% certain, Michael, if the SBC might have extended that watch in parts of Alabama, but it looks like they might have. We also have, let me check here. Again, that tornado warning up near Florence, Alabama. Nothing confirmed yet, but that guy's also packing some pretty decent hail just south of Muscle Shoals. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then there is another tornado warning, radar indicated. That tornado warning is in effect for Noxubee and Lowndes County, and that is for another about 50 minutes or so. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active supercell thunderstorms really that we're tracking. I do want to say before we venture back to our Taylorsville storm is that this is now an observed tornado coming up on the Collins area. This is an observed tornado coming up on Collins. So this is the Taylorsville Bay Springs storm right here. This is the one that we were looking at with that drone video that Michael was showing. This is the one that originally we were talking about, 2 hours ago, Michael? It developed near Kentwood.
Yes.
Tornado near Tylertown that then tracked up towards Bassfield. Then we had a new tornado develop, and that's the one that we were just taking a look at that hit Taylorsville. So that was all this.
From Bay Spring right now from the ground.
And so then we have another observed tornado coming up on the town of Collins. This is Collins, Mississippi. And Michael, I'm going to steal the radar here. That has a debris signature coming up on it now. And so this might be up. I wouldn't be shocked if this warning gets upgraded here for Collins, but it's coming straight for it. Or very, very close to the city of to the town of Collins. So this is the second Kentwood storm. This is the second of the Kentwood storms, and this guy did
have the MDOT traffic cameras.
I do not, but that might actually be something really good to take a look at.
That's across the interstate there, and I believe there's a camera right there. But my computer is freezing up when I load that. I've got too many videos going on here.
All right, give me a second. MS Department of Transit.
And while you're doing that, I'll put the stream back on here. so you can see what Bay Springs is looking like right now.
Let me see if I can't get the camera up here, Michael. My guess is, well, maybe Mount Olive or something like that. Mount Olive. No.
It's m.traffic.com.
Yeah, I got that much. I was just
Oh.
looking for a specific camera.
The camera, I can't read it from here.
Because if they got one, I want to seize. M.traffic.
Right at the exit where it's heading, there's a pretty clear camera. You can see the sky.
All right. Okay, I'm on it here. Give me a quick second. That's going to be Mount Olive. Mount Olive. There's Monticello, Williamsburg, goodness golly, Laurel, Sanders, Taylorsville, Hadesburg. Why do they have so many cameras around that one town? All right. Yes, I see you. Okay, I'm looking at it too here. Let's. Give me a second here, Michael. I'm going to pull it up here. I got the full screen of it. This is going to be US 49. Let me switch the camera really fast so we have it. But I think that view, that's some tornado damage right there. Let me enlarge this screen here. There you go. So this is looking at 49 here north. So we're looking like we're right near where this storm is. This is observed, Michael, and I'm going to pull up the correlation coefficient on this thing. This thing's about ready to hit Collins right now. There's your debris signature from this tornado here. Give me a quick second. Show that. There we go. And you can see that is right there coming right up on Collins. That is a well-defined debris signature. We'll see here if it takes a direct hit. It might try to scoot a little bit to the northwest. I'd definitely say the north side here is probably where the most likely part of impact would be. But here we go. Here's some traffic coming in, Michael. And that'll tell us also a lot about kind of what's going on here. So this is US 49 at 84. Michael, this thing is actually going to be right in the path.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get my bearings here. So is it going to cross there north of the bridge? We're looking north.
You know, there's two bridges in the town. That's the problem. But I'm assuming that
that's the same camera here that we're watching.
It actually might be facing south, so we might see it if it's still on the ground. We're going to see it here in a moment or two.
We'll keep an eye on this here. Stay with it, Timmy.
We'll know if the camera gets picked up too. You know.
Yeah.
That'll tell us where it is. But yeah, this thing is there's a lot of traffic. Probably a lot of people trying to get the storms. You know how it is, kind of like how it was when I was down in Oklahoma. But yeah, this thing's going to be passing either just north or just south. Like I said, I'm not exactly 100% certain. I'm assuming that this thing is pointing south there. So wherever it is, it's probably going to be right up on our screen there.
Yeah, this is it. A lot of YouTube feeds right now have this exact same camera up right now.
Well, it's going to be pretty close. I mean, Michael, this debris signature continues to get larger and larger as it passes just north of Williamsburg. It's going to probably clip Sunset, and Sunset. It's going to pass right over Sunset Road between Aura and Sunset, and maybe head up right to US 49 here. So, if nothing else, we might be getting potentially some debris coming into at least the view here. But let's look towards the south. All right, so we got two shots, Michael, one to the north, one to the south. I think this might be one looking up towards the north here. So my apologies. Do we still have it up there? Okay, let me reshare it here, Michael. Oh, nope, it's running, so we're good. So wherever this camera is, we got one looking north. Oh, they're turning it. So it's going to be somewhere up around here.
it's looking like it's on the edge right there, Timmy. That we would see it here any second.
I agree. I mean, that could be it. It's difficult to tell here without actually physically being there. Again, I'm not 100% certain exactly where this thing is, but it's crossing 49 right now. So let me see here if I can't. We got a view to the south. Whoa, I lost it there. Hold on.
So yeah, I think it would happen within seconds.
Are you still able to see the image?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, Michael, I'm going to leave it up on this one here. I'm assuming this is it, but I am going to double check because, again, they got a north view and a south view, but I'm assuming this is probably the view. As long as this thing continues on, I don't know. We'll see here. It's not as strong looking on the velocity as it was, but a debris signature is still there. So if nothing else, you might at least see a little bit of debris trying to come down. But I am not 100% certain just based on this particular imagery here.
I'm watching the one facing, or the other one facing north here.
Okay.
I'm still not seeing anything, just some very dark skies.
All right, so I got the south one up here, and then there's you're looking at the north one.
Correct.
So I guess we can kind of flip back and forth. It is raining there, so at least we know the radar is working. It's always good to know. Yeah. Well, we're going to find out, I guess. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, as I think we lost you again, Timmy. You're cutting out there. So what I'm going to do here is, well, you get reset there, Timmy. I'm going to reset what we're looking at here. So we've got tornado warnings from near the Gulf here all the way up to the Alabama, Tennessee border there in the Florence area. So if you're in Florence, you're under a tornado warning right now. And so let's take a look here at exactly, baseball size hail with this storm here. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Littleville or near Tuscumbia, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So possible tornado, and we've got baseball size hail with this storm. And so let's get on the radar here and see quite a bit of rain there. You can see the hail core and with the storm right here. Probably some very gusty winds as well. And so, yeah, we've got a couple of areas where we see some possible rotation and a couple of areas here around east of Florence. So northeast and southeast of Florence there. And let's move down a little bit farther here. And we got this tornado warning east of Brooksville. and 3/4 inch size hail with this. Let's take a look at the velocity. And again, you see some rotation here where the reds and greens coming together with that. And I'm not seeing any debris signature there with this. So we got another storm just to the south of that. Let's see, to the west of Emil and Geiger. The storm here, probably again a heavy hail core with this storm here, with this tornado warning. Oops, with that, and probably some very gusty winds as we have that going on here. And so there's our rotation in this area here, and they just updated or cut back this tornado warning here in that regard. So we're seeing there. And then 2 more storms to take a look at here. So this one here to the west of Stonewall, the Bay Springs storm that we've been talking about, that's moved through the Bay Springs area. It has lifted, and it says observed here. So at 2:20, so 6 minutes ago, confirmed tornado is located near Turnerville or near Bay Springs, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. We've got several storm chasers we've been watching in this area and have not been able to see the tornado. So possibly it is maybe redeveloping at this moment, or potentially could be on the ground and maybe just rain wrapped, not able to see it in that regard with that. So some very broad rotation in this area right here. So it could be recycling itself there. And then what we'll classify as the Collins storm right now, observed tornado and 1 inch size hail with this one, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado about 13 minutes ago near Collins, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour with this. And so let's go back to the velocity and to set this up. So it looks like it's broad rotation right now. It's moving out of the north of Collins here towards the Taylorsville area. So if you give me a nickel, Timmy, for every time we've said Taylorsville here recently.
I know, you're not kidding. You're not kidding.
With that. So observed tornado on the ground there with that. So at 2:30, 10 minutes ago, tornado producing storm was located near Taylorsville, or 8 miles north of Collins, moving northeast 55 miles per hour. So these storms continue to move, Timmy. That's a good thing here with that. And let's check here, because these storms just continue to develop and are just more or less training over the same area here. One thing that people in this area are probably seeing right now is quite a bit of flash flooding, something that these storms are producing some heavy rain, as you can tell with the orange and reds on the radar here, and just storm after storm after storm going through here. And so a lot going on. And I heard you, Timmy, so it sounds like your connection might be back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're breaking up again. I'm going to cut you off there. Breaking up again. Come on. With that. So break it up. I'll keep talking here. I'll keep talking while you get yourself reset there, Timmy, and a little break there as well. And so we're getting some pictures here coming in. Let's see here if I can switch the screen here so you can see what I'm seeing here. So Spark Weather Service has some pictures here of near Bassfield here. So pictures of trees down alongside the road here. Quite a bit of trees, so quite a bit of damage in this area. Again, the best part of the storm, I know people are affected by it, but it's not a heavily populated area. Really, none of these areas have been, extremely heavily populated. So that's, I don't want to say good, but that's good with that here. And see if we can see some others. So here's 15 minutes ago from Taylorsville. I don't know if this is the first, second, or the 12th tornado that's gone through there today with that, but a fairly large tornado here from Riley Bell WX, sending those pictures onto X here near Hot Coffee.
Line. It's right there.
turning away from that there. Let's see if we got anything else here. Here we go. Damaged tornado across Highway 94 west of Collins. All right, this comes from Ashton Champion, WX. All right, see some damage there, some debris flying around, it looks like. With that, unfortunately, it looks like damage to a home there. And again, with that, so quite a bit of damage in the Mississippi area here that we're seeing. This is near Tylertown. This here is near Tylertown. And we saw that, we've seen that one a little bit earlier. That was a FedEx truck, if you remember the FedEx truck around there. Wild Mood MX in Kentwood. Let's watch as you see the tornado there in the far background. And there is about 30 minutes ago of one near Taylorsville in the background. And I think we took a look at that as well with that. So quite a bit going on here with our followers here with that. Taylorsville one again. Taylorsville about 25 minutes ago. Hard to see what we're looking at there with that. So yeah, quite a bit of damage going on here, but we do have multiple tornado warnings. We have 8 tornado warnings right now. 8 tornado warnings, 7 severe thunderstorm warnings with that. And 10 no blizzard warnings again, no blizzard warnings, so we don't need to be covering that today. But we do have 1 PDS tornado warning, 1 PDS tornado warning here. And this one here is observed 1-inch hail in the Covington, Jefferson Davis, and Jones area. So again, this has moved through Collins here. And let's turn on the velocity. So heading towards Taylorsville. The Taylorsville one. Okay, the Taylorsville tornado warning is not a PDS warning. So it was, I guess, earlier when it went through columns. It just has not been updated quite yet with that. So quite a bit going on here. Quite a bit going on. So we knew severe weather was a possibility today, high risk of severe weather in this exact area that we're talking about with that. So the Storm Prediction Center called this earlier yesterday. It was yesterday morning, really, when or afternoon when they issued the high risk here. And unfortunately, it's panning out just like we said it was going to there. And so if you're under a tornado warning, if a tornado warning has been issued for you, that means a tornado has been sighted or indicated by radar. All right. You're going to hear the sirens. Most likely your cell phone's going to go crazy. So you need to take shelter in a sturdy building, get to the lowest level that you possibly get. If it's a basement, get in a basement. If you don't have a basement, put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Definitely stay away from windows. Do your best to stay away from exterior walls of the building that you are in. Protect yourself, whether it's a mattress, helmets, bicycle helmet, whatever it might be. Protect yourself and make sure if you're in a building or a structure that is not sturdy, like mobile homes, get out of those and pay attention to weather updates there. So if you're under a tornado warning, that means the tornado has been sighted or it's indicated by radar with that. And so taking a look at the active radar here, let me switch back over to the reflectivity so we can see that here. So from left of or west of Hattiesburg and north of it, and to the west of Tuscaloosa. All right, a couple of tornado warnings there, and then further north into Florence, a couple of warnings there. And if you remember a few years ago, Timmy, I don't know if it's working for you yet or not, but if you remember a few years ago, the Tuscaloosa massive tornado that hit that area there in Tuscaloosa. And so we've got a couple storms to the west, one to the southwest, moving northeast. We'll see how this develops here, and hopefully we're not in for any type of a repeat with yet another tornado in Tuscaloosa. So let's take a look here if we can at the let's take a look here. You're very faint there, Timmy. Not there yet. With that. And so watching this warning right here, the radar indicated tornado to the south and west of Tuscaloosa. With that, so let's keep monitoring these here, and see how this plays out. Let's go back to this radar here. All right, so line of tornado warnings here that we're following. Line of tornado warnings here. Mississippi area, Alabama, you're up next. So don't be just watching and hoping here. It's time to prepare, get yourselves ready. Seeing some rotation here. That's probably moved a little bit to the north and east. There's an update right there. With that, we're seeing some rotation here. With this, moving to the north and east. And we're seeing some rotation right here. And ideally, or likely to see a tornado warning for the Meridian area coming soon here. So quite a bit going on here in this area as the storms are moving to the north and east at around 55 miles per hour with this. And so I hear Timmy's name joining. I don't see Timmy. Hey, you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey,
I hope so.
you're here. Awesome.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Awesome. So yeah, I've just been kind of going through the tornado warnings here with this, and so some areas of rotation that we're watching. So one area of rotation, 2 areas of rotation, 3 areas of rotation, just in this screen right here. So likely tornado warning will be extended here for the maybe Newton Meridian area. All right, here's Taylorsville again getting hit, heading towards Bay Springs yet again, and another rotation here heading towards the Collins area. So let me know if you've heard any of these cities before today, but they just round after round after round. This is getting crazy, Timmy.
And again, the same couple of leading edge of a lot. There is a, let's see here. I want to just double check to see if we got any new watches or whatnot. No, we do not. I have seen a few damage reports come through, but nothing much overly new. Some hail reports around Florence, Alabama, 2 3/4 of a size hail from that storm that was about 20 minutes ago. That's the tornado warned storm that is ready to make its way into Tennessee at this time. We haven't talked much about Tennessee this afternoon, but they are also getting a little bit of some storms. Now, they are central part of the state is under a tornado watch at this time. However, no active tornado warnings in the state of Louisiana, of Tennessee. Severe warning and mainly a few warnings. A little more the actual large storm. That right now only one severe warning. That's Lawrence, and just more obviously down in eastern Mississippi,
I think we lost you again, Timmy. Yeah, I think we lost you again, Timmy. With that right here. Yeah, not hearing you at all. Not hearing you at all there.
Just do our.
There's some video from
right on
Caesar.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to run just. Yeah, I think we are.
Taylorsville, and then the tornadoes are going through there.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna turn around. It's going right in that. Who is? Hope so. Yeah, that's what it is. It's gonna miss us. Head right for the probe. Oh wow, dude. Nice. just missed the probe, but it should hit it or get close to it.
Right.
The Dollar General's going to get it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it just missed our probe.
That's alright. It didn't do that anyway.
Power flashes. God, we should have put it right down there, Dollar General, huh?
Yeah. Watching for
This tree going over.
there's a lot of trees going over. Alright, it's over there now.
Man, we almost had this probe in the tornado.
Alright, let's recover that and can we get it again?
Well, we got to get it recovered and shut it off.
So yeah, there we go. There we go. Watching the line of storm here. With that, Timmy, are you back? Not hearing Timmy yet. Not hearing Timmy. So hey, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do here. Yeah, lost Timmy here with this, and so we're past the 3-hour mark, and so we're gonna take a quick break here. We're going to shut things down here, but we'll get back on here shortly and continue our coverage here. Gives us a chance to reset our technology here, reset ourselves, get a drink of water, and be back and crank this out. And so, thanks for joining us here. We'll be back. We'll share the videos, pictures, give you updates as we go through here. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us.